All right, we are live. We're gonna see how this goes. We've been playing with a bunch of chords and a bunch of service and stuff. So I'm just gonna make sure we got everything going. But if you're in the chat and you can, if you tuned in already and you can see what's going on, say hi in the chat so we know that everything's. Let's see. I'll try and make sure we can see the chat here. So, oops. I think I'll try and pull the chat up on my phone. But, all right. So we're just jigging right now. Who's fishing with me today?
Well, my name's Kris Gaune from Gaune Fishin.
And I'm Brandon Elliott from Full Send Angling. I do Gaune Fishing's running guns.
So, I've been up here fishing a little bit, and yeah, it's been fun. It's like 12 degrees out right now and ripping wind, or negative 12 and ripping wind. So,
Been chaotic, very chaotic day. Oh,
The running guns were a little brutal today to start off the morning, but
not much running. More set up a tent and wait and move, set up another tent
and fixing stuff.
and fixing stuff. And
vehicles breaking down.
people stuck everywhere, drifts high. Just Lake Winnipeg, come prepared.
That's just the name of the game, isn't it?
Yeah, they don't call it Big Windy for nothing.
Welcome to the guide life.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna try. I'm gonna pull the chat up on here real quick. Loud and clear. All right, folks. Sounds like folks can hear us here. So.
Man,
Perfect.
they're probably gonna start saying, "Where's the fish?"
Yeah. So yeah, we're hoping a few come through, but
Crazy weather system. There's been some fish caught today, some big ones too, but they've been tight to bottom, a little tight-lipped. Trying to throw everything at them, rattle baits, jigs, spoons.
And you said what was your client's biggest today out of the one?
The one Yeti had a 29, few 26s, couple eaters. Another Yeti had a 27, and a handful of eaters. But there's been, I think, maybe 10 fish between the 22 to 26 today, and then the two big ones.
sure.
And then didn't you get a 29 today running and gunning too?
Yeah, we've got a 29 out there, a 26, a bunch of mid-20s. Overall, it wasn't a complete sleigh fest out of there, but we caught some nice fish. Had a fun day. Made the best of the weather, so.
Yeah, when you get a pattern and a system come through like that, you never know what's going to do with these fish.
No,
Full
exactly.
moon too tonight.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Should fire them up for the next.
You'd think.
Yeah. If we have the right weather for it, anyways.
Can I do a little peek around too, like a little scan, see if there's anything in the.
Oh yeah,
in the
you can
distance?
spin that around. Yeah. No worries.
Oh.
There's one right there.
Yeah,
Over at
there's-
20.
Yeah.
Let's see
You can see some suspended bait. I know there's a little bit of static, but what happens when you run off generator power? That's the generator, the word of the day.
Oh man.
That's just always the thing.
I try to be prepared and have all these boxes and stuff to keep my generators out of the element, but when it gets windy and blows like this, that snow just decides to tuck in everywhere and clog vent lines and air filters and kill generators, but it makes for a fun day, that's for sure.
Well, generators are always such a pain in the butt, honestly.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah, so we're doing it a little different. This time we actually got 3 people on camera somehow. And yeah, when I think generically when I think about Winnipeg, personally, I'm thinking of like running around on the ice, like running and gunning, like whatever. And to me, it's still like so weird being in a fish house. And yeah, so this is a 24-foot Yeti fish house, which is just ridiculous. But I saw a few comments on here. Chippy's Outdoors said, how's the bite been? Which we covered a little bit. And then he said the bite died on the river by 2 o'clock, I guess. So, which you hate to hear.
Yeah.
Never the sauger bite never dies on the river though.
No?
No,
They
no.
keep going?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
it's great for kids. It's just nonstop.
Are the regs different for saugers?
No, they're in the walleye. Same.
Okay.
Yeah.
That would be like a good meal, I'm sure, if you just
Yeah.
want to run out and grab like.
Oh yeah.
If you want to run out and
But
grab groceries.
it's actually like to get over that like 14 or 35.
Well, it's got to be at least
14.
14.
Yeah, you
Okay.
can't. Yeah, there's
Yeah.
I caught one big one. It was like. I don't know,
17's
like
a
seven-
trophy.
It was like.
18.
Isn't
18.
18's a trophy?
Is it
Yeah.
master?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. 18.
It was like probably pushing master. Honestly, it was like
That's wild.
it was like maybe
but
16
they're
maybe.
skinny rails. Usually the saugers, you never really see any fat
Yeah,
ones.
well,
yeah.
compared to the green ones. you
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
I've been
Well,
trophy
It
hunting
looked
here
like a
for-
Minnesota fish.
Yeah.
What's that?
I've been trophy hunting here in Manitoba for a long time. Fished a lot of different lakes and rivers the past 5-6 years, just hunting trophies, and I only have 2 master sauger.
Yeah.
Out of the
Where'd you get them?
thousands I've got.
Or you can't say.
Right on the red on Lockport.
Really?
I've gone up to Wacusco to try to target them and get on them.
So they've got giants up there.
Wacusco does, yeah.
Super giants.
Yep.
Probably like the biggest anywhere. Probably.
Yeah,
Right?
I've never
Manitoba.
got them up in Wacusco. I've gone to Wacusco chasing walleyes, but I never really got some sauger, but nothing.
I
giant.
couldn't get on them. I think I was either too late or too early.
Sure.
But then I went back into tramping with the Zodiac, and man, did I have some fun in
But
there.
is there current? Because saugers love current, and through the
Yeah.
ice up there, you
Big,
probably
yeah.
can't fish
I
that
haven't
heavy
done it in
current.
the ice. I did
Oh,
open water.
Open water. Oh,
Yeah, and I went right by the falls there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But no, in the river today there was actually a tournament. 31 teams. The icebreaker kicker fish tournament was today on the Red River.
Do we know any results? Like, have we heard about
Yeah.
how the
Well,
boys
I
went?
can look them up on my phone. I know. I think the biggest fish was at 32 and a quarter. So let's see if they have the results on kicker fish here. But yeah, it was a live leaderboard all day on YouTube. It was
It's a
pretty
great
cool.
event.
Yeah. A lot of big fish get caught in it.
Jeff said he was on Lake of the Woods fishing before today was outstanding, and today with the cold and wind it slowed down.
Yeah.
So yeah, which is I wasn't running and gunning. I kind of woke up this morning like I was sleeping in a tent, which was nuts. Actually, by the way, I had like drifts like this high all around my fish house, but I survived. I am alive today.
I'm amazed you did that. I was like,
That wind was kicking
Yeah.
last night.
but
Yeah.
you have a good setup in that otter and stuff, right? So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I parked it behind. I had it
Yeah,
like set up
yeah.
behind my
Wind block.
snowmobile trailer,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
helped a little. But it was still like ripping.
yeah.
But anyway, so I just woke up and I just like fished. I'm not pulling this all up and like trying to find different spots. Like,
Yeah.
so I just woke up and fished, and I saw a few fish, but the fish were really like moving super slow.
Were they tight to bottom? You seen any suspended?
So I did see some suspendeds, but like they've got their paths kind
Yeah,
of.
yeah.
And like if they I don't know that the rattle bait like makes them change their path very much. Like
Just turning on the lights, because when you turn on the outside lights, the bait fish come under the trailer.
sure.
So
Sure.
sometimes that brings some fish.
Yeah, no, so I don't know, like have you guys noticed like have you found that the rattle baits will like get them off their path to come to you, or
What I've been noticing this year especially is that the rattle baits are unreal until 10 a.m. and then might as well just downsize and
That
put
it-
those things right away.
yeah.
the
10,
aggressive
10:30.
bite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I had one come today. Like I just didn't have very many that like swam under the tent or whatever. But the one, it was just moving so slow, and I was just like, I've seen these like,
Yeah.
the slow movers. But it was about halfway up, and I reeled up, and it was just slowly floating, and then it saw my bait, and then it was like, and just grabbed it.
Were you
So-
working it hard? Because sometimes it's just
No,
the cadence, right?
no.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you ripping them scares them. Sometimes they get aggressive smash, right? But if you're just
Yeah.
doing the old twitch and dance, sometimes it's just they'll engulf it. But
Dude, I'm convinced that, and this is just, I have such limited experience, but like,
Yeah.
I'm convinced, like, just never ever rip it.
right.
You know
That's
what I
where
mean?
I'm at now. I used to be I used to always rip it, and I never rip it
But
anymore.
when rattle baits first came out here,
Yeah.
and on the scene, you could rip it. Like,
Oh, yeah.
it would just wham, wham, and they would just
they
smash.
come in and like a pipe.
And you'll get that in March too, late
Sure.
March, yeah.
Sure.
Like when you're getting fresh, like, so in the South Basin where we are, you got all these, you got the main river, you got some East Channel, you got the South Channel, you got a couple creeks and stuff that flow in here, so a lot of those fish are migrating from the north, coming into those, this end of the lake to spawn and stuff, right? And those fish are fresh fish, right? And they come in aggressive and hot, and you know, they got the feed basket on, trying to thicken up and stuff.
So now one thing that I'm noticing over the past few years is I've gradually switched from smashing bottom to I won't even touch bottom anymore unless that fish is uninterested and now swimming away. Then I'll go and wiggle it in the mud a bit, but I do not touch bottom with my lures anymore.
But that used to be a thing you did.
Yeah,
more.
smash bottom. And now it's just...
Well, you can if you want some burb too.
Yeah, there you go,
They
yeah.
love picking those rattle baits out of the dirt.
Yeah.
I did get a burbot the other night too.
We're not eating it right now? You didn't keep it?
They're no good to eat.
No, what?
Why?
They're delicious.
That's the American in you.
No, I'm just joking.
No,
We
they're
used to
good.
target
And-
so much burbot.
Yeah, and they're so easy to, like, just
Clean.
clean and take the back straps.
Yeah.
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 Very easy.
No, I used to fish from a bunch. And I've only prepared it myself a couple. Jordan, my wife, prepared it. We just boiled it, you know.
Yeah.
You know what'd be good? You know how I make that bacon wrapped walleye?
Yeah.
Imagine that with burbot.
That would be good.
That'd be good.
That would be
I was
legit.
actually gonna mention that we should have made some tonight, but
Well, I'm taking that home to make
no,
something for my family now.
we're gonna have some big smoke brisket and burnt ends and potatoes. It'll be good. It'll be good.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, unreal. Alright, so we got a bunch of... I finally pulled it up on my phone here. I was like looking up here.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's not gonna
We're
work.
gonna put the computer on the big screen.
Yeah, probably, actually. So we got a bunch of folks in the chat. That's cool. Dominic, Flutter Yo, the Minnow Scoop, Caleb. Sorry, I don't know if I'm going to be able to go back and answer like some of these comments because we're a little bit behind now. David, how do you guys feel? Ooh, this is a good one. How do you guys feel about live scope ping spooking the fish?
Oh,
Sometimes I hear guys talk about that,
Well-
and that's where flashers have an
So,
advantage.
can I go into my theories first?
Oh,
You guys-
no. Yeah, go ahead.
Here, I'll say one thing first. So
Yeah.
he said he's been hearing about folks like flashers having an advantage, maybe.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
when you're running around, right? So you'll scope them and then zip over there with the flasher.
So
Yeah.
that's fine.
Yeah.
I would say like the fish, like the bigger fish that I caught today, I wouldn't have caught with
Without.
sonar because that fish was above me.
Yeah, by the time it's in your cone, it's gone.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I wouldn't have caught it, you know. But
Yeah.
also, anyway, so I want to throw that in there before you guys started.
I got so many, like, I've been watching the, like, live scope and fishing live scope since it came out. And I feel like, you know how fish have attitude, right? Whether it's pressure, whatever. There's some days they're snapping, some days they're not, you know, they're not taking it, they don't have no interest. And I feel like that some days it might affect them if their attitude's bad. Like, it's weird. I don't know. I've seen it where, you know, they hit that 15, 20 foot boom, and it's like they just turn. They go the other way. And then some days they come in right under the and smash it. And hit Brandon, he's been fishing shallow in 2.5 feet in the mornings with live scope, and you don't even see him come in, and it just smash. Like, and they're right under the cone. So I think it's their attitude, you know, they're either on or they're off. And I think my own thoughts, like, I don't want to get scientific, but their lateral lines, the bigger fish have bigger lateral lines and and sense more, but I don't know. You know, we'll never really know, right?
No.
Like, because
Yeah, how can you tell?
right?
Like if it hits the brakes when you're 15 feet away,
Yeah.
like the sonar ping is stronger when you're closer, but also like you're there. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Yes.
Like there's a big giant shadow from your tent on the
I
ice.
know, yeah, and if you got clear ice too, it's like, is that shadow scaring them?
Even if the ice is thick and there's snow,
Yeah.
they'll still see a shadow.
Right? It's
You know?
And now so I've got two theories that both contradict one another, saying that, you know, we'll never really know because there's no hard proof evidence. I guess my first theory kind of goes off what you were saying is we've just had live scope over what, the last 10 years kind of thing?
No, 2017.
Okay.
Right around then, I think it came out with the
almost
first.
10 years.
It's not. It was Panoptics.
Panoptics,
yeah.
correct. The PS22 or something.
Yeah.
So we've been watching fish now for that long, and maybe they weren't just gonna come in, like they were gonna do the same thing whether the live scope was there or not. Maybe
Yeah.
like your cadence. Another thing I've been thinking is I've noticed on certain lakes when I bring my live scope there that I don't see a single fish seem affected. So maybe it's the amount of live scopes that are being used on this lake in specific, or certain lakes in specific, and those fish are learning.
And-
They're
yeah.
learning, they're evolving. Maybe
And plus all the
faster.
people chasing them down, right?
Exactly.
Like, you know, when it's a nice day, not today, you're constantly moving. You're constantly looking. Like, there's just times where we drill a hole, we scan. If we don't see 8-10 fish on a turn, on a full 360 turn, we don't even fish it. We're looking for like the 20-22 fish.
Yeah.
Because then it's, you know, especially if you got 6 guys, 4 guys, 3 guys,
Yep.
you want, you know, more fish, more action, right? Bigger
Exactly.
pod. And it I don't know. It's, and like you said, it could be even just the bait scaring it.
Yep.
And another thing too is this lake specifically.
I think the bait definitely scares.
Oh yeah.
Because
yeah.
I've had fish just cruising. I'm watching them on
Yeah.
live scope,
Yeah.
and I'm doing something, and they're slowly going our way, and I didn't have my line in the water.
Yeah.
I drop it down, and they're like, "Well,
Yeah.
well, I'm out
He's
here."
like, oh, my lip's still sore from the
Yeah.
last
Exactly.
one that caught me.
No, I've seen this before.
Yeah,
I was just caught by
But
you.
one thing too, so because live scope and zebra mussels start, like we've had zebra mussels now here for I don't know exactly when it came, but the water clarity has gotten a lot clearer.
Yeah, that
So you
matters.
can also see a lot further, and now with the fish, they can see a lot further. Like before, this water used to be so stained and dirty, like it felt like the fish would almost have to be right at your bait before it would engage or notice that it's there.
Yeah.
Now I've seen them either shy away from 10-15 feet, or I've seen them charge.
Where they start to charge from
Yeah,
the distance.
right.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you know, there's so many things, and honestly, we'll never know unless you know there's some.
I
There's
don't
no way
know.
to tell.
Yeah, I don't
There's
really
no way
know.
to tell. But
I think it's definitely true. Like, I think it's definitely true that if it does affect them, it's a conditioning thing.
right.
Because like the first time, you know, like when you first started using it and
Yeah.
whatever in target, like it was, you know,
Yeah.
like it was just
I'll never forget the first. So when I got live scope, it didn't even come with a pole. Didn't come with nothing. I built it. I took a shower rod and put my, like, you know, in a hose clamp and bracketed the deucer on and had a piece of plywood as my, like, the original, and running around the lake with that thing was wild. But it's sure come a long way between shuttles and poles and everything. Like,
so they're just. I don't think they're. So okay, number one, we don't know if they can feel it, but if we're assuming that they can feel it, then. From there, I think it goes to, I don't think that they're inherently afraid of it. I don't think it makes them, like, apprehensive. I think if they can feel it and they've been caught with it or something like that,
Yeah.
it's a memory.
I could see that impacting them. But where was I going to go with that? Oh, so my thought is, like, I know there's a lot of people who fish out here. Like,
Oh, yeah.
a
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you saw
But
Saturday morning, right?
But there's there's
Like-
there's so many fish out here, and this is
Yeah.
such enormous water.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like, this is a lot of fishing pressure, but it's also not more than.
And it runs all the way up too. Like, there's so many different accesses all the way up the lake. You know,
Yep.
you can go all so far
Yeah.
north, and you know,
And these fish don't get targeted during the summer, really.
not on like when the lake.
Not in a meaningful
No,
way.
no.
You know
And
what I
they do
mean?
in certain areas and weather permitting, because this lake, when it blows up, it blows up. It's like all your big lakes, you know.
Do they have like an estimate of how many fish are in this lake?
I wouldn't know
Probably
it,
do.
but I'm sure they do, because they do it, and then that's how they base their quotas for the
Mhm.
commercial guys.
So I guess
So
where I'm going with that is like, what is the probability that the fish that's swimming underneath your hole right now has been like caught with live scope? You know what I mean?
oh, the odds.
Like, is it like 5% of fish have been caught?
I'd say,
you know,
yeah.
if there's tens of millions of walleyes in here, or
I would
whatever.
think
Like,
it would be more.
But there's even no, I wouldn't. You got to think of how big this body of water is.
Okay,
and
but
how
the
many
South
fish are in it.
Basin
And
alone within the winter though. is
yeah,
what I'm
well, the
thinking.
South Basin sure gets
You know what I mean?
punished, but I've also seen it where caught a fish, walleye, catch it, bring it up, let it back down. That same fish goes and smokes another bait.
Yeah.
So right, like I honestly, it just depends on the fish, the attitude, right? Like, so.
It's such a, it's like, I just would say it's like the impossible question, you know? But I mean, if you're out here, and maybe it's some fish and some, you know, some genetics, you know, I don't know.
I think you just got to hit them with the both. You find them with the live scope, and you know, you grit them out or however you want to do it. Keep drilling, keep chasing, keep scoping, and then hit them with the flasher. You know, run over, drop your flash. Oh, there's one on the edge. He's right on the verge.
Oh yeah.
I'm just gonna do it. There he is. There, sneaking.
Yeah. Can we? How do I have this? Set up?
They're moving slow, and he's going the wrong way. But so.
Yeah, right on the edge. You guys can see that.
Yeah, we're here. I'll turn. Yeah, there he goes. He's just leaving.
Right off the edge.
Yeah. Should I go drill a hole on him?
Yeah, he goes scope him.
He felt the live scope.
Yeah, right.
Vexlar.
He didn't even come in to give us a chance. Yeah. Actually, the night bite has been the best night bite I've seen this year. And tonight, like with this weather, this moon, like we're not seeing the amount of fish that we have seen in past nights. But I'm sure if we sit here long enough, we're gonna get some to come through.
Yeah.
But I feel like this weather. Oh. There's
unreal.
There's like one of my houses one night. They said they caught the clients between, I think it was 9 and 10. They caught like 30 fish in that 1 hour. It was like the witching hour. They just came through. They came in hungry, and the bite was on. And then, you know, some nights you'll get 2 fish, 5 fish, 8. You never know, right? So.
Well, no, that's like.
But a lot of big fish have been getting caught at night.
That's like your first client that I went and set up there.
15
He had his rod in the line in the water. 10, 15 minutes. He calls me. Do you have a bump board? Come over. I got a big one. So I come running over and measure it on the board. 32 inches.
Yeah, the first client of the season.
Line in the water. 10
Really?
minutes.
Wasn't in the house 15 minutes.
Unreal.
Yeah.
And then within
He's got a
24
picture
hours
of
of being there, he catches another 4 masters by himself.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Through the night.
Well, do you remember
Like,
when I
unreal.
stayed
Yeah. Well, yeah.
2 years ago?
Yeah.
We were like getting our stuff in the house. I had all my stuff because, you know, I'm pretty organized, you know. I'm a little.
He is. If you guys can see what he's got going on here, he's very organized.
I'm somewhat dialed a little bit.
Yeah.
But Brett, on the other hand, he is a little bit more. He's a little all over the place.
Little stab.
I'm waiting for him to jump in the comments and defend himself. But so Brett was still bringing his stuff in.
Yeah.
But I just got my stuff in. I don't even think I. No, I did. I had my GoPro set up. But yeah, like.
Yeah.
Just barely.
And that was on a
had
rattle bait, wasn't it?
That was on a rattle bait.
Northland.
Yeah.
The white or white and green.
The green one.
Yeah. The glow. That's a money bait.
Yeah. So like literally, I have like the clip of me turning the GoPro on, sitting down. Oh. I was jigging for like 1 or 2 minutes, and then a 11.5 pounder came in.
Jeez.
Yeah, that was a thick fish, gorgeous fish.
Just a beast.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like 30 right on the nuts, but like 11.5 pounds, man.
That's I think that is like everyone's, you know, they want to get a 30. 28s are good, 29s are great, but 30's like the bar, right? That's where everyone wants to get. Yeah. I think this year 430 so far, all in the houses too. Or did you get one running and gunning? 29 3/4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got shy at 30.
Yeah.
So I haven't had as.
And 3 of them have been at night, I think.
Oh, really?
Yep.
So Clayton jumped in the chat. Do you guys know anybody named Clayton? He said
Clayton who?
He wants to see a 30-incher tonight.
Oh, jeez.
Clayton Schick.
So we keep this camera on all night?
I think I've heard that name before.
Yeah.
Well, you know, if you were in here, I bet they would swim right up the hole.
Well, yeah, he's the 30 killer.
He is a savage.
He's possibly coming up, I believe, this year.
Is that right?
Yeah. Hopefully he does. We'll see.
Well,
we keep talking when we went on.
Me and Clayton might have something pretty neat in the works as well for run and gun.
Yeah.
Still waiting to try to figure that out, but.
Okay. Someone was I think a couple people were asking how deep. So we're in
12 plus 2 of ice.
Up about 12 and change.
Yeah.
12 plus.
A lot of times too, first thing in the morning, shallow till 10, 11. and then you'll stop seeing them. You'll kind of notice it comes down. Then it's usually push out deeper.
Sure.
Yeah. And then you can push back in the evening too sometimes, but.
The Real Canuck says.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
What's up, Kevin?
Yep. Kevin's a good dude.
Yeah.
What's that floating up there?
That's a
Is that a fish
suspendo,
or a
yeah.
little?
No, that looks too big to be a bait.
Out that distance, it's like, yeah.
It could be sideways on the cone.
Sure.
Just catching the edge.
He said your videos with Jordan, which is my wife,
Yeah.
are much more pleasing on the eyes than with these two guys.
I bet.
I knew there was gonna be some sprite comment.
here?
Sprite comment
In
from
this
that
case,
young
I'll
guy.
love it.
Yeah, right? I'd hope so.
Let's see what else we got here. So we got a couple hundred people on here, which is neat.
Right on. They're probably all like, where's the fish?
Yeah, we'll get some. I think we'll get some.
Well, I went to go do my rounds, like checking on everyone and filling their jetties and stuff. I walked into one shack, and he popped 26 for like, I don't know, right before I came over.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, he's a fan. He might even be on here. He wants to come say hi and shake your hand. So.
Sick.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds good. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, my computer battery is slowly working its way down. So,
Uh-oh.
and it didn't have a lot to start with. So we're just gonna do this for a bit here. Like, if any of you follow along, you know, for some of the stuff that we've done in the past with these live streams, like the last one I did was like 7 hours. We're not gonna be anywhere close to 7 hours for this one. So, just based on the battery alone. So anyway, if anything, we'll do this and hang out, and it is what it is. So. But yeah, my computer, that's one of the tricky things. I've been trying to like dial in the computer charging, blah 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 stuff, so it's been tricky trying to, there were a lot of technical issues getting started here, but we are fishing now, so.
Kris,
Yeah.
I've got a good question. What got you into guiding? I don't even know this.
Oh.
So where did your old guide career start?
That's actually a funny story. I was at a party in Kenora, and these couple guys, I was at a hotel in the morning, and a couple guys rolled up with like this sick bass boat, and I was like, oh man, nice boat. And the one guy's like, yeah, it's too bad we can't put any fish in it. And I'm like, what do you mean? This is Lake of the Woods. Like, there's fish. He's like, oh yeah, we went out, I think they went out half a day, and then he's like, we're out a full day, and we barely got any. I was like, well, and then we just started talking, chatting. He's like, do you want to come out with us tomorrow? I was like, yeah, let me just let my buddies know, and then, I'm going to go out and see whatever. So I took him out. I ended up taking him one spot, actually, out in the elbow Lake of the Woods. And we sat there all day. And, we probably caught 100, 200 fish. And at the end of the day, they gave me a handful of money. And I was like, wow,
Shoot, okay.
this is pretty lucrative. That's actually how I really my first guiding thing. And then I didn't really guide right after that. I had a friend who was a guide out in Menaki, Ontario. And he had been guiding there for years. His name was Porky, Clark Barr. He was a tournament guide and stuff. And then he had a bunch of books, and he got sick. And I always did like tournaments, and I fished out there and stuff, and I knew the river very well. And he was like, "Oh, I don't think I can make it." So he asked me to cover for him for a couple days, and I ended up doing that. And then after that, it was kind of just like, yeah,
that's
so
it.
yeah. And I used to have like my day job, so then I'd guide on the weekends or on holidays and kind of balance both. And then it just came down to I had to make a choice, and so
That's dirty.
yeah, that's how it pretty much started.
Okay.
I like it. Well, do you recognize the name Pete McMullen?
Yes.
He said, "This is great, Nick. Kris is awesome. He's guided me a couple times. Blue and silver spoons, blue and silver buckshot rattle spoon, silver shiner, I think, tipped."
Yeah.
That's what he said.
Yeah. Well, I don't think I have it on now. I think it's on one of the rods. I had the blue and silver wing ding tied up. You got it on that
You
one?
mean this one?
Yeah. Do you have it on? Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Gotta love
Bellman
Element Custom Baits.
Yeah.
Dirty.
The guy's a beauty too. Not just his baits.
And then I brought a Glow Northland spoon too. They're pretty good, but I don't know, silver. If for any spoon, I just love silver. Hammered silver, normal silver, just silver. Like, you know, match the minnows, right?
See, I'm a big gold guy.
Big gold guy.
Love my gold.
Gold kind of just works everywhere. I feel
Yeah.
like. I feel like that's if it's clear body of water, dirty body. It's just it always works.
Yeah.
Gold or white? Grew up on
White
white and
always
pink.
works, too.
White and
Oh,
pink
white and
twister
pink?
tails.
Pink's my color. Pink
Yeah.
is, yeah. Pink and for any other jig, rattle bait, whatever. There you go. Okay.
You guys like pink?
Yeah. There we go. Yeah.
Yeah. By the way, for all the Minnesota folks or U.S. folks, is this not obnoxious? Big giant rattle bait. I think the one that you gave me earlier, the one with your logo on it,
Yeah.
that one might even be bigger than this one. Maybe? Or about the same size?
I think it's similar to the same size.
Oh,
Oh, here we go. Here we go. I got a
There you
little
go.
guard. Here we go. Oh, come on. Shake it. Twitch. Come on.
oh, he's
Came out of nowhere. Eat it.
That's when you took that rattle bait out.
Yeah. Oh, come on. Just
he's
bite
gonna
it.
eat you right there.
He hasn't even bumped it. Come on. See, they're just... Oh, there, it's in his mouth. I'm going to let him take it. It's in his mouth. Oh, he let it go. Come on. Come back for it.
He wants it.
Yeah.
Look how vertical he is.
Oh, come on. He gave it a tap. I'm losing it. Oh.
You turned off, yeah?
No, he's still on me.
He's
There he
right
is.
there. He's
Come
off to
on.
the side of it. Yeah.
Look how, yeah, so right from the bottom, what are we at now? 4 feet?
Oh my gosh.
No, he still
He
hasn't
didn't
hit
take it?
No,
You missed her.
he's still, oh, I think he's going down. Come on. Where'd you go? He's still around. He bumped it. Oh no, he's up above.
Oh,
there he
what
is.
the heck?
Here we go. We got him again.
Oh, you better just finish him off here. He's like right below the house.
Yeah. Just,
What do you think
there
of
he is.
sauger?
It's in his mouth.
There we go.
There we go. Oh, it's a little heavier than a sauger.
No, it's probably about an eater. 18. There we go. Greenback, baby.
There we go.
There we go, right?
See
on.
that barbless popped right out.
I like that.
Yeah.
You can show him off to the boys.
Yeah. Look at that. I don't know how
Here,
well
stand
it's
up here. You can see the screen right there.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Experts at fishing, but learning with the camera.
Oh,
this
the fish flop.
This right there. Nice catch though.
You right?
Like I said, expert with the fish.
There she is. Some green.
That one almost
Not the
looks
big.
blue
These
on
are
the
my
back.
favorite size to eat right here.
Where did that
Oh,
light
yeah.
go?
And if you ever notice, their snouts are a little longer than on these walleyes than a typical gold walleye.
Look at that too. Yeah.
See? But
Here,
here,
show off the green again.
there we go.
A little more back,
Back.
or I mean rolled forward.
Oh, there we go.
There
yeah.
you go.
Yeah, and the back. Look at the top of the back. How green.
That's
it
a
is.
really green one.
Yeah.
I don't know if the camera does it
Almost blue.
justice, but
Right. Yeah.
that's a really pretty one.
I normally eat it, but we'll let her go. Oh, one person
Uh-oh.
under the house. What?
Might have turned from a yeeter into an eater pretty quick.
Yeah. No. There it goes. But yeah, look at that. How far that thing chased me up the call before it actually engaged on it.
That was neat.
Yeah.
I can't believe it. I can't believe it. The way it was acting, I can't believe it just didn't smoke you right away.
But it was the way it was. That's why I kind of let it eat it before I gave it the juice.
Yeah, that's smart. I've definitely rolled a few fish the last couple days, just like
Pulled the
just hitting
bait
them,
up,
hitting them
yeah.
too fast, too
Yeah.
right away.
So my biggest thing too is with live scope, and I've seen this day in day out with clients and people that don't fish live scope. I always have to say, feel the bite, don't watch the bite.
Yeah.
Because so many times they'll pull it out of their mouth or.
Well, now here goes to what I tell my clients. It's what I do all winter, every winter, is never ever hook set on a bite. You know what? What do you mean never hook set on a bite? Okay, so you see them chasing you, and you feel that bite. Hook set on a load. Once your rod loads up,
That's,
bring up.
that's super
It's a load.
smart. Yeah,
Hook
that's
set
good
on a
advice.
load, never hook set on a bite.
Because then you know it's
Yeah.
got a piece of that lure,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
there should be a towel in here.
And I feel like it's the easiest way to explain to somebody that
Yeah, but also too, people like they don't fish all the time or don't spend time.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's almost a reaction, right?
Yep.
As soon as you feel that first tip, you just wanna.
or bass guys.
Right. Yeah.
I was gonna say, yeah, like I grew up bass fishing,
Yeah.
like, and it's a habit you get into,
Oh
right?
yeah.
Yeah. Hooks
Oh
up.
trust me, I've guided lake trout on Great Slave Lake and get some bass guys up there. You don't gotta rip it out of his mouth. Just lean into her. Lean into her.
Yeah, those hook sets, man. Oof.
Did we lose
So
you?
the big thing I noticed for bass guys is that whip hook set.
Yeah.
Right? And with a lake trout, you don't want to do that. You want to get a good, strong, steady
But
hook
usually
set.
if you're fishing big lakers, you got a way stiffer pull. Depends.
Yeah, but then I've seen guys whip hook sets with way stiffer pulls, and here goes your braid, or just pops right out.
That fish literally came out of the bottom, and I had just kind of done a little search around too. Not too much bait under the house tonight. Oh, there's a little right there. There's one sneaking along bottom, tight to bottom. Not a big fish.
Just a little guy.
That
yeah.
little bump there.
Yeah.
We're up to 250 folks. TJ with the super chat. Appreciate that, man. What head unit? This is Garmin 8610, GPS map 8610. Which, how many of those do you own?
Oh, well, there's one in each house.
Yeah.
So it goes to the TVs
Yeah.
and stuff. That's like
Because you got 5 houses, right? So one in
yeah. And
five.
I don't own them all, but I run 5
Oh,
houses.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
And you have 5? Do you
I
have,
have
do you have,
5.
do you have a run and gun?
Yeah, I have
8610 as well?
Nope.
Okay.
I use the 93, and you got a what's yours?
126.
Yeah, he's got the 126.
Love it. A little heavy.
I was
but
actually talking with Levi, and I'm trying to get my hands on one of them PS22s, the new one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
For running around.
yeah, it's a run and gun unit. Like nothing's faster. So
Jonas wanted to know what you got then on?
that was flasher jig. So normally on the lake it doesn't really matter, but anytime I fish any current for greenbacks, whether it's Hecla, the river, whatever, flasher jig, chartreuse.
Well, it's just a jig with an underspin on it.
Yeah.
see, and I
Stand up
I
style.
feel like there's flasher
I don't know if
guys
they can see that.
Yeah, they can. Yeah.
and
I
there's
know.
Whistler guys.
Can't show them how I hooked that minnow though.
Uh-oh.
That's the trick.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. No, tail hook, man.
Yeah.
That's the way, if you know, that minnow can dance, and if a fish is, if you're dead sticking and a fish comes
Yeah.
in, when the rod starts vibrating, so.
By the way, that's such an obnoxious. Like that's your finesse presentation, right?
Yeah. Well, actually, finesse, I'd go
Even smaller.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tungsten. Yeah.
That's so obnoxious for around home.
Really?
Yeah, just wildly obnoxious.
What?
Like if it's not like a teeny little spoon, like
Yeah.
or like a minnow, like a
Well,
minnow on a hook.
I
like,
noticed that
you
a
know.
lot of guys bring up a lot of small
Yeah.
stuff, like stuff I've never seen. There's one, actually Lloyd showed me that was, there's one under you now. Rattle bait, come on, here we go. Let's see old Pinky go. And that's not tipped, eh? That's
Not tipped.
not tipped. Northland, baby, come on. Oh, she's shy.
No.
She spooked.
Where's she at? She gone?
I don't know. Let's see, I'll do a little. She took off quick.
Oh yeah.
Shoot. See, and you guys have been saying too, like, the rattle baits right now. Like,
Well-
honestly, the rattle baits have been really good for me the
Yeah.
last couple days. Like,
How deep were you fishing?
well, I've kind of been all over.
Yeah.
I ended
Were
up.
they better in the shallows though? Like shallows in 5 and less or 6?
No, it was just because I was doing a thing where I was fishing 2 at the same
Yeah,
time,
yeah.
25 feet away from each other,
Yeah.
and like, the rattle baits was getting a little bit more action than I was catching a few more on the rattle bait than the spoon.
And you don't tip them, eh?
No,
I actually
you
tip
always
them.
tip?
Yeah, I even tip them with live minnows. Like what I'll do is I'll stack them. So it's kind of the same thing where that minnow, if you're not working it, just dancing the rattle bait and actually rattles it a bit.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's been a little bit better for me just lately,
Yeah.
but whatever,
I like I said, if they want it, they want it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And
That's what it kind of comes down to. I
Yeah.
feel like.
Sometimes the rattle bait can seal the deal, and sometimes they can spook them. A lot of times too, though, it's like on the drop or something. That's what usually spooks them if you drop it too fast, or if their line touches them, or the bait touches them. Because rattle baits, when they go down, they shatter this way, that way. I've even had it happen with spoons. You know, because spoons all of a sudden flutter down and bonk it, and then the fish is gone. But typically at night, like, I didn't have any tungstens in this house. Normally I would just have a tungsten with a live minnow dancing down there. Yeah. And if you have rattle reels going, then it's, you know, bobber tungsten, real small tungsten. Just let them eat it.
I can't get enough of my big skyfly tungstens.
Yeah.
I use them all day, all night. Always have one tied on.
Since we're talking about baits, Jonas asked, "What's your favorite rattle bait?"
Me?
Or even just like a handful of them. What do you guys like?
Element custom baits.
Yeah,
you like those?
I wish I had one of those ones to show, but they're similar to the Northland too, like same size, you know, profile and stuff. But he does some crazy custom.
A lot of cool colors.
Yeah,
yeah.
I wish I had a tray because his painting is not, and he's colorful. That's the crazy thing.
That's hilarious.
So he gets his wife to be like, "Is this, you know? Check
yeah, is this the right color?"
Yeah, yeah, and yeah. So but it is. They're very good. And like before he was around, my go-to was Northland, and I had the jackals, and I had the.
So guys use in general like jackals, rapalas.
Yeah.
You know
Northlands, Elements.
Yeah, and then
I don't see as many jackals as you'd think.
Live targets.
Well, the jackals kind of tangle up a lot.
Yeah,
don't they?
you got to do the shrink wrap on the tail. And,
yeah.
But that's if you're ripping them hard. But if you're just working them, they're not bad. Yeah. But if you're ripping them, they foul on themselves. It's the way they fall. I think the nose falls too fast. Yeah.
Well, like a lot of you guys probably know, I do work with Northland, so like I have a bunch of their baits, but
and they do catch fish. You got your 30.
And they're really good. But like this thing I've been using for like everything, honestly, because like I want to say
should I bring up the first day when I came to visit you?
I can't remember. Yeah, what happened? Yeah, what?
When you were folded over and
oh yeah,
wonder that was your rattle bait.
Oh yeah, that was.
We think pike,
probably an enormous or a big pike or
but
whatever.
like the rod was just caned and just.
It was ripping.
But you were shallow too, so when sometimes you hook them shallow walleyes, they do the same thing, right? But you never know.
I mean, it could have been a 33-inch walleye. You know,
could have been. We never got it. We were so shallow and it came in so quick. We didn't really get to see the detail of the fish on the live scope, right?
Right.
Because it came out of this side, boom.
I should go back and look at the.
Oh, you were recording that?
I was recording, so I could look at it. I'd count the fins.
Yeah. Well, then you'll know because if you get the big fat wide fins on the side, or if you got the double fins on the.
It seems like the Winnipeg fish, like a lot of times they'll mark like this big long thing, and you can see these fins.
Yeah.
You know,
like the two when they go vertical.
They look weird. Like they look. They look like a. They kind of mark like a manatee kind of
or like an airplane jig.
Yeah.
So
that's like they remind me of an airplane jig.
Yeah.
Back to you saying 33-inch walleye, because a lot of guys down south that haven't been to Lake Winnipeg will think 33-inch walleye. There's no way. That's unheard of. That's unreal. But there's definitely walleye in here.
That's a good point. Yeah.
And there's walleye a lot bigger than 33.
Yeah.
Well, and it's like I've caught a number of, and even you just forget about the length. Like I've caught a number of 30s, even more 29s, whatever, like back home. And it's like you're hard pressed to have those fish. Like even if they're Cisco eaters, like you're hard pressed to have them get over 8-9 pounds. You know, like. And
here they're going to be 10 plus, almost guaranteed.
Yeah.
Let's get an old male or a sick. An old sick fish.
Yeah.
You know where they're white and they're on their way out, but
they're just built different. Like that first one I caught was 30 inches and it was 11.5 pounds.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Well, nuts.
This spring he was out helping a commercial guy, and in the net, on the bump board with pictures, everything, 36-inch walleye, and that was just how many miles up Matheson Island? It was about.
It's just quite a ways north of Hecla still.
Yeah, it's up there, but. that just goes to show that quality of fish is in this body of water.
And just estimated, we were thinking somewhere around 18 to 21.5 pounds.
Yeah, like the girth on this. It looks like he's holding up a small child.
Well, I looked at it. It looks like a big pipe as far as like what he's how he's hoisting it. You know,
he does have
pictures. There's a video as well showing it.
Yeah. And he does hold his fish. He's the 0.5 long arm champ, but it is
a long arm. I'm tucked.
Yeah.
I might be 0.5, but I ain't long arming nothing.
Yeah, it is a big fish. But so the quest for 30, everyone's always chasing that 30. I chased 30s for years, like ever since I started walleye fishing, and I was so many 29s, 29 3/4, 29 7/8, just, and then finally I think my first 30 was it was out here, out from the mouth of the red. And after that, it was kind of like the floodgates open.
You just had to get the first one.
Right? But it was like years of chasing and just, even open water, you go bump it 29. Come on, And then at Hecla, actually, I was next to another guide for Blackwater there. They boated a 33, I think it was over 33. I can't remember if it was 33 and a half or 33 and 3, but it was a big fish. It wasn't the fattest fish, but it was nice long.
Yeah.
So, and that was right in Hecla. So
that's insane.
They're out here. There's some freaks out here. And then back in the day, someone got a 17-pounder in the red. I can't remember the length on it, but back then they never really. It wasn't about the length, so it was all about weight.
Sure.
So, yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's the thing too. Is like the quest for a 30.
Yeah.
But like the quest for a 10-pounder. Is like.
Well, I would rather catch a fat 28-incher than a skinny 30-incher.
Yeah.
Any day of the week.
It's a way cooler fish, right?
Yeah.
All day.
Well, it fights better,
True.
It folds you over more, right?
You know what? Now that we're talking about walleye fighting, the river walleye or walleye in Ontario fighting compared to walleye in Lake Winnipeg.
Walleye, they're slugs here.
They do nothing.
They're
they
dead fight, they head shake and stuff.
Especially shallows. Yeah.
Shallows will do it, but like the angry walleyes up.
Or Axel, they're nothing like that.
Same with
they're more nuts up there.
English river. You think they're pike.
Yeah.
So many times
or
clients
smallies.
will be like, "Oh my god, it's a pike." I'm like, "No."
Yeah. They're fight. They're just
I call them angry walleyes.
Some of ours kind of fight like that too, but then I gotta figure out if that's because it just feels like that because I'm using 6-pound test and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Medium light rods, but
Little drag, a little loose.
Oh, definitely a little loose, okay, so here's a couple questions here. So Kyle asked, how cold is it up there tonight? When I looked at my phone, it said -12. Did you guys hear what it was going to get to tonight?
I can tell you what.
That's a decent one.
When I was out there with that wind chill.
The wind chill must have been -30.
Man, I was running and gunning. And I was guiding the other day when it was with the wind chill. -39 the other day when I was out running and gunning.
Which is about the same Celsius and Fahrenheit.
Yeah, so -39 Celsius. You guys can do the conversion down there.
I think it's about the same, actually.
I just think
and now today it felt way worse and way colder.
That's what it is. It
felt way worse and way colder guiding today than when it was not -39 degrees Celsius a week or two ago. I was not having it this morning.
So when I was driving to this house in my truck said -12 Fahrenheit.
Yeah.
Which is, whatever it is Celsius.
Like 28.
-28?
It's somewhere around there, yeah.
And the wind was just ripping.
Well, let's just check. Let's see what our apps say right now for what the temperature is.
Okay, and so the other question that I saw in here too is from Cody. What is the best time to catch them at night? All night or just a couple hours before, after dark?
It's so hard to say.
You know what?
Usually, I think the 9 to 11.
Yeah, I was going to say.
an hour
once the sun goes down is pretty decent, and then all of a sudden it spikes right up around 9.
I feel like this, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, or people can chime in, is whenever that sun hits the tree line, on any shoreline, wherever you are, boat, water, ice,
There's always a bite window.
Yeah, there's always that bite
window. Doesn't
window.
matter if you're in dirty water, clear water.
Yeah.
Like, sunset or sunrise is always a bite window.
And sometimes it'll go longer and into the night, but I would say, like, after spending every day in the houses for the last few winters, it's probably, I'd say, like, the sunset to an hour after, and then the 9 to 11. But then the other day, woke up in the middle of the night, and what'd you pop it? 26, 27? I can't remember.
27,
Yeah. He's in the bed, holding it up. He didn't even get out of bed, blankets on, shirt off, yeah.
I hope he had a slime.
I was on I was on the top bunk, so I leaned over for the upside down picture, and that was at 3 in the morning, right? So you never know. You just never know.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I suppose it depends on the night or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
C-Dude asked if I'm going back to red soon. I think, honestly, never say never, but I think I might be done with red for the year, maybe.
Red colored lures, red.
No, Red Lake.
Red Lake.
Gotcha. Back where you.
I should be more specific because there's plenty of people watching. Nick, are you coming up to Saskatchewan?
Go visit Clayton.
I should. I haven't decided yet.
I wish I could tag along, honestly.
It'd be so fun.
I can't.
Yeah.
I'm out here every day. I can.
Wait, where's Saskatchewan?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, for me, like, this is just as cool as going to Saskatchewan as far as, like, my,
But I could be wrong, but I've always, from what I understand, like, I know Last Mountain Lake, they say, is so great in the beginning, and then after,
it's hard.
Yeah, then it gets tough.
Sure.
I think, and I don't know, but I've seen it in other lakes that are similar, and Lake of the Woods and stuff. Once it gets to, like, the water temperature gets a certain temp, they go into the deeper, like 60, 70 feet of water.
Oh.
And that could be what they do, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I just know it gets tough. And a couple people, like Clayton had told me, and another one of his buddies, Louis, told me and stuff. So
I think walleyes just generally get tough in middle, you know what I mean?
So here...
What about Winnipeg? What's February? How's the bite in February?
Sometimes it's sleigh day.
Really?
Everyone that's the $1 million question I get asked or emails every day. So when's the best time to come up? And
it's like how cold do you want to be?
Everyone's always like March. March is very good, and also usually it's warmer and it's mobile. But the last 2 years we haven't really gotten that March run where the ice is melting. You're getting runoff from the city. Although everything, it's been too cold, so you're not getting all that extra runoff and oxygen where the water's flowing in the holes.
That's huge.
That fires those fish up, right? All that oxygen
reoxygenates the water.
Yeah, and that's what gets them moving and grooving, and they're all but. Last couple of years, I feel like the best fishing happened after the season closed when you couldn't get out there because it never got warm.
Well, my theory on why the bite sucks in the middle of the winter is because of oxygen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like last year was nuts because like it rained a lot and then like it would like down by us.
Yes.
It rained and then like it would snow. And then it would get warm, and the snow would melt.
And you had horrible ice conditions last year too, no?
Terrible.
Like for getting out and stuff?
We had enough by us.
Yeah.
I could get out with my snowmobile.
Yeah.
No, there was no truck travel.
Right. Yeah.
But like last year was the best walleye fishing ice year I've ever had by a lot.
Yeah.
The bite was so good all year. Like it's February. Like.
Yeah.
I mean, back home, you might as well just not even fish them in February. Like
really, February here, like any given day can be a really good day here. It's just sometimes it's weather, sometimes it's how mobile you can be. There's so many things that factor, and it's such a big body of water. Somewhere out here, someone's having a good day because you're gonna land on them,
Yep.
Yeah.
And sometimes it'll take you half a day to find that pod. Like there's times where you'll start shallow, go east, west, north, south, and you're all over the map just trying to find a big pot of fish or active fish. And there's another one sneaking on the far right there, just flaming.
That's something that I want to key in on because you don't know how many times I've been out with a running gun crew and I drill a hole and I see just the biggest pot of giant fish and we're sitting on them trying to get them to go, trying to get them by dropping lures in front of their face, chase them down, not a single one.
Lockjaw.
Don't want to bite. Now, it's do I sit on these fish with my clients that are paying good money to wait for them to bite? Or do I leave a giant pot of giant fish to go and try to find fish?
Right.
So
that's
perfect.
Question.
I always say don't leave fish to find fish, but if you spend 4 hours looking at them, it's like you gotta leave.
I just read it somewhere. Ash asked, got any advice on catching wall? Oh wait, no, sorry. Braxton asked, any advice on Lake Winnipeg when they are being picky?
I like to downsize. Like I said,
Downsize.
tungsten and
Smaller.
downsize.
I've been seeing in a lot of videos, dudes
Yeah.
are using like little jigs.
Yeah, I like
With a salty.
a tiny. I actually,
Live?
I'm a live guy, and in 2
Yeah.
years we're not going to be allowed this. This is this
You
year
just
and
live while you got it.
yeah, and I'll tail hook 2 big minnows and just have they're not seeing no hook, and that's just the way to do her.
Yeah, I like it. What
Well, I'm just telling my secrets.
Yeah, you're spilling all your secrets on
Yeah, I
us.
never tell anyone anything, but hey, if they're watching, it's only 200 people. Don't tell anyone.
Somebody clip that. It's almost 300 now.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
I bulk up, biggest jig I can find, pound bottom.
Sometimes you just gotta make them bite. You
Yeah,
know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
That's when you start ripping the rattle bait.
No, but if they're being finicky, you do kind of want to, downsize and salted, livey, whatever. They both work.
Ash asks, got any advice on catching walleyes in central Minnesota, like structure or depth?
There's creeping. That's a decent mark.
Oh, he's coming our way too.
Yeah.
My advice, central Minnesota.
Ooh.
That's a good one.
That's got size. How many squares is that? What's your grid at right now?
2 feet.
2 feet? That's a 2-footer at least.
It
Probably
looks like
bigger.
a 20.
See, when you see that tail kicking,
Ooh.
that's
Yeah.
a good fish.
That's
Okay.
that's an upper 20.
Yeah, it's going to hit you first there, Brandon. Let's see if it comes into the garment. Right?
Should I pull my thing out?
I
The rattle bait?
don't know. What if it wants the rattle?
They might want the rattle bait.
See, this fishing, you never know. It's hitting that little bit of a dead spot. There she is.
Central Minnesota. Bite windows. Take advantage of the bite windows morning and evening. And set lines. When we start getting into midwinter like this, set lines, plain hook, minnow. Experiment with different types of minnows like shiners. Sucker minnows, golden shiners, like all the above. So,
Oopsie.
but now we got. Was he kind of skirting now?
Well, he hit that 15. He's
I'm not
still.
seeing me here.
I think he's sidestepping.
Was he
Right,
skirting
so-
around us?
Yeah.
So this is another part of the scope argument too. Is people are like, oh, just it swims or out of the scope and around, but it's like it's swimming around our lures too.
Right.
you
Well,
know?
our cone is, what are we, 12 feet? I think our cone's
It's
probably
wider when it's out there, so
Yeah.
you can see more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a decent fish, though. It would have been nice to get it. Oh, he's still there. Okay, run out there. Who's got the auger? Grab the ion.
Nose goes.
It's just sitting there.
That is fun. That's funny though, cause like I kept on seeing fish out from where I was.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm drilling a hole over there. I put my rattle bait over in that hole, and dropped it, and I was just jigging it
Oh,
from
yeah.
over by my snowmobile.
Play the run and catch up game.
It worked really good.
Oh, yeah.
Is he got? Where are we at? Ooh. Oh no, that's
No,
okay.
that's Brandon.
Is it gone?
I think he might be. Oh no.
Swimming the wrong way.
He did. No, he skated us the way because it's coming from that way, and I watched it kind of go like this, looped around the shot.
Gotta turn our lights off.
Now it's yeah. Now
There's my Crocs. Run out there and get them.
yeah.
Come for your jacket.
Yeah.
It is so cold. I went to go get something in the truck.
Oh, and I went to get those zip ties.
Yeah. Dude, it was like too cold for me to go out in my truck without putting my jacket on.
Yeah.
Like I got so, it's really cold.
And then you
out
start your vehicle right now. It takes a half hour just for it to get warm.
Yep.
there. I think mine was like leaking coolant or something.
Oh no.
What it looks like Mountain Dew.
Yeah.
That's coolant.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Depends. They got different colors coolant, but I know on my side by side it's orange now.
Yeah, but if it's leaking green,
Yeah,
it's
that's
gonna be
cool.
green. It's gonna be cool.
Well, I'm just hoping it was cold and I don't know.
Oh well.
If it
A lot of
overheats,
times
if it
the
overheats.
coolant lines too, like they'll when it's hot, it expands,
Oh, okay.
contracts, and then you get you'll get a little bit of drip here and there. So let's hope that
You make it sound.
Was it a
You make it
puddle or
sound
was
so
it a
easy.
couple drops?
Yeah.
That's the question now.
Just watch your temp cage
Yeah.
when you're headed home tomorrow.
That's what I was gonna say.
Well, that's the nice thing about coolant, right? Is you can just like if it starts overheating, There
Throw
you
some
go.
water in there.
Yeah.
Well,
Oh, not this time.
Not today.
Maybe in the
Yeah.
summertime.
Yeah, definitely done that in emergency situations.
yeah, summers.
I did that once. We hit a deer, and we were in the middle of nowhere, and the rad had a hole in it. It was leaking coolant. So we'd get every 10, 15 miles, and she'd overheat. So we'd slow down. And then the one time we'd overheat, we were by like a swamp, and I grabbed some swamp water in there, and that was the last time because I jammed up the rad. So and I called the tow truck. But we ran out of water bottles or whatever. We just kept filling it, and the only thing I had was swamp water, but it didn't work. Well, it worked for 10 miles.
Yeah, it's sketchy.
Yeah.
Well, now I went in the first time I ever went to Reynolds Ponds. There's a back way that the maps will try to make you take sometimes, and I didn't know this. So I started taking a dog's journey up the back way, the girl I was seeing at the time, and we get up the back way. It's going well, and all of a sudden I'm just pissing coolant. Just unloading it on the ground, and I realized, oh, this isn't good. I look underneath, and yeah, hole in the rad. So now I'm grabbing garbage bags and just trying to plug it with whatever I can underneath. And we figured, okay, as long as we can get it to the highway, which is still a good ways out of Reynolds there, we get a tow truck. 'Cause the tow truck doesn't want to come all the way down into there. So ended up just filling it water bottle after water bottle. Made it right on the last water bottle. We made it to the highway, and a tow truck came.
I'm trying to think. There's something you can dump in there too.
So my first vehicle ever, it had problems like where it was like leaking coolant or whatever, or like so I'd always have coolant on hand. It wasn't enough where I was totally ripping through it, but and then like it just stopped leaking coolant one day. It just,
I know there's
fully
something. I'll probably Google it and show up in a second. There's something you can dump into your rod to, if you have a little leak, it'll clog it. And you can
really?
Yeah. No, it's gonna bug me. So let's see what Google has to say.
The real Canuck. Hey Brandon, do you have a receding hairline or do you just need some more tattoos?
Show him the one tattoo.
I think
Which
he's
one? Oh, the rattle bait.
The rattle bait.
You gotta, I'm not sure if you can see it
you
that
have to
way.
get up to the
Yeah, you'll have to show.
That was rattle bait. I think it's that side, right?
Yeah, it's right
Yeah,
there.
All-Main Custom Baits, rattle bait.
Yeah.
The
Mario.
Bullet Bill.
Yeah, Bullet Bill from Mario Brothers.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, because he makes he'll do crazy baits.
You used to have a Bullet Bill one.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, McComas clapback.
Oh.
He said, "What are you even talking about? I was bringing in all of your stuff while you were jigging."
I wasn't there. All I know is I got the call, or came in and you had this monster fish in your hand, so I'm not getting involved in that one.
Can't beat that.
Yeah.
Oh, Canuck, did you go and run and grab your full send angling sweater to watch this video with?
Atma said, got on some lake trout in NH. Guessing that is that New Hampshire, or is that a lake? North. Anyway.
North Haven. I don't know.
Awesome. I wish I was on some lake trout right now.
Yeah.
No, actually I don't. I'm on greenback. I would say that if I was back home catching bluegills.
I love catching lake trout. Like just the way they bite and hit, and I call them freshwater sharks. Just
The most nuts thing though, you're just like a savage. Like you go on his Instagram page, Kris Gaune, Gaune Fishin, Gaune. You like bring your Yeti fish house up to the different lake. Yeah.
I've been everywhere, all over, but yeah, it's
like we're talking like 40-something inch lake trout in a Yeti fish house. Just the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Like that got my attention when I saw that.
Oh, I love Lakers. And so with Lakers, it's like I don't get to chase them much. I maybe get to fish them once or twice a year, and that's like where I go is as soon as I get a day off, okay, I'm going for Lakers just because of the way they hit and they fight, and they're just so.
See, I feel like you're a huge lake trout guy, and I'm big on my pike through the ice and muskie.
Yes, you
muskie
are.
in the summer. I love my pike and muskie.
Cody asks, well, basically, do you guys have any advice on like accessing the lake at the moment? Like, is there anywhere not to access?
Right now, there's a page. It's called the Lake Winnipeg Ice Report.
Yeah.
That will have every day or every couple days he will put an update. It'll tell you where active cracks are, trapdoors, access points, what's blown in, what's not. So if you're ever looking for any information before you're coming up here, that is where you want to look. And now truck travel here, like a couple accesses. One of the accesses tonight, Brandon was pulling out trucks all night. I got stuck, hung up trying to get out here because people were stuck. So because we had all that blowing snow, but right now usually it's always good. Balsam Bay, Viconia. Warner was sketchy a while back when it warmed up. I don't know what that is like right now. I don't access from that side. But if you look on the Lake Winnipeg Ice Report, it will tell you.
And you know what? My dad came out all the way from End to Main today with his trailer.
And you can drive out the Red River.
You know, really, what he was saying.
And it's a highway.
That's like that's like a common thing to do, isn't it? To just drive right out of the river.
Yeah. A lot of people too. Like it's.
I was fishing out in front of the river, by the way.
Yeah.
And I totally fried my blades.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that'll happen. Oh yeah. Watch where you drill.
Yeah. Like, honestly, if anyone's coming up here, have extra blades. Maybe have 2 sets of blades. This is the worst. This is the worst freeze up we have ever seen. There's so much dirty ice and dirty water, and a lot of those fish are in the dirtiest ice and the most frazzle or stacked ice, and they hide under there.
There were some spots I wasn't expecting. I started drilling, and I used to see little stuff.
Oh, the other day, my buddy goes to set up his house. He's like, so it takes him. It doesn't take forever, but it takes a bit to set up one of these houses, right? So he goes, finds a spot, sets her down, and he calls me. He's like, "Man, my live scope's not working. My live scope." I'm like, "What do you mean?" He had drilled into stacked ice, so he couldn't get through. And like you felt like you got through, but then there was another
because the water came up and he thought he did.
Yeah, and there was another ice heave and stuff, and so he's like, and then so he had to move, set it all up and move.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, I drilled a hole, and then I was like, oh, I've never like drilled in places where like there's a lot of dirt and stuff, and like, so I just drilled that one hole, and I did see some stuff. I'm like, oh, I wonder if there's some, whatever, and then I drilled the next hole, and I'm like, man, my ion's not as smooth as it used to be.
Yeah. Well, like even so, where I run generators and stuff. You get your water puddle from where the exhaust on a nice day. You'll get a water puddle, and in that water puddle, you'll actually see the sand and dirt at the bottom.
Huh.
That's all from the ice, right? So it's just melting the ice, and then all that sand goes to the bottom of the bowl. You can say that the generator causes from the heat of the exhaust.
Speaking of auger blades, I definitely should probably change.
Ooh, coming my way, boys. Call Debs. It's hanging. Right there, look, see? We'll just look at my baits and that fish.
Eventually I can cast this lure into that live scope hole.
Oh, it's still, what are we, 22
Yeah, you're a ways away.
Yeah, that fish needs to do some tail kick in there.
Speaking of auger blades, if you're watching this, Matt, I need some 10-inch.
I got a couple extra in my truck.
I got an extra set too. Yeah. I'm just
Oh, come on, they're veering.
Bailey said, I was out on a lake in southern Manitoba in a permanent today and couldn't stop the wind from coming up the hole.
Oh, that's a trick of the trade. Might cost you. So, they got the hole sleeves. Did he have hole sleeves? I don't know if he'll answer.
I'm not sure.
But I have hole sleeves. I find them more of a pain too because a lot of times the ice isn't flat and they don't sit right. They wobble and stuff. So I have a trick, and I just take your slush bucket, drill my hole, and then I very slowly, my last spin, I'll pull all the snow up, and then I'll create pretty much a cone, and I'll pack it all hard, let it get hard, no draft, and your holes will stay open for a long, long time.
Dirty.
Yeah, but it takes a bit to kind of figure out. And also wear some rubber gloves because it's very cold pounding the slush and stuff and packing it down. So.
Any tips for when the ice ridges push too high?
Fish them. Don't get too close to them, but fish the edge of them. Find the edge of those shelves. And so
That's where I blew up the blades, but
yeah. So like bait fish,
Yeah.
bait fish love to hang in that shattered ice, that jagged ice, and not all of it, but and then the big fish, they use the bottom of the ice like the bottom of the lake. They'll push bait up into that stuff, and so a lot of times you fish ridges. Not every ridge is gonna hold fish, but there's some times where
it's structure in a structureless.
Yeah.
And so if a ridge is somewhat recent, it also adds oxygen.
Right.
The reason the ridge is there is because of oxygen as well.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
We had a big crack. Was it about a week and a half ago? Huge crack opened up. It was warm. Like pluses, you could fish outside in a t-shirt, and all of a sudden it got cold. Snap of a finger. Yeah. And bang, we were out here because I don't leave. I'm here for 3 months straight. I do not leave the ice, but we were out here and we heard it at night, and I said, "Oh, that was a good one." That morning, huge crack. Trucks were going in, but the funny thing was, you drive around and the crack was about 12 to 18 inches wide in most spots, and you'd see guys hanging their flashers and live scopes on the edge of this crack, just fishing the crack.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A few people walking back and forth pretending they're trolling.
Yeah.
I like that.
Let's see how fast you can run. Grab a tail dancer. And
I love that.
Flicker shot, whatever. Yeah. Give me a bottom bouncer. I'd walk it nice and slow.
I like that idea.
Oh, yeah.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. Get a worm harness going or something.
So Dominic had a live scope question about fishing with buddies, and if you want to hear our opinion on live scope and whether or not it impacts the fish, just rewind this video. It's probably 5 minutes in, I think, and we started talking about it.
And you'll never know the answer to
But
that,
now,
honestly.
Here's something that
some lakes though are more affected. Smaller lakes, I feel like I've heard of stories, I've never seen it firsthand, where crappie lakes, people won't even use a live scope or they'll use the live scope to herd the fish. And I've only heard it, I've never seen it, but I've heard stuff like that.
But now here's a good point. So when I'm guiding, and say I've got like a recent group I just had here, they both had their own live scopes. They both know how to fish. So it kind of took a lot of work out of my hands, where I would drill them some holes. I'd say, okay, here's a flasher. Have a rattle bait beside you. Sit on your live scope. And now if you see a fish coming over there, you're gonna drop this rod, keep it in the water, grab your flasher, and run over there with the rattle bait and drop your rattle bait on them, and just work them with the flasher.
We're going to catch this one, by the way.
I hope so.
I like the way he's
As
moving.
Clayton would say, kick.
You'd also say, jigging a minute.
I like the way he's moving. He's coming in fast enough.
He hasn't. He's hit that. He's almost crossed the threshold there. I don't want to get too excited here. Another decent.
I got good vibes.
But these fish, like prior to this big cold front and this wind and all this, these fish were moving a lot faster and a lot more active and aggressive. But like we've been saying, it's been a brutal last 2 days in weather, and
he hit the wall.
Was that 15?
14, yeah. Stopped at 14. Just
So,
close enough for him to know.
Another thing we could try too is, and this, I don't do this at night. Just leave all our baits. You just don't touch them.
Yeah.
And just let him sit there and see what he does.
And then once they're close enough, you
Then
give it a little.
Yeah,
that's what I was saying.
Then try to get the reaction bite.
Is that I find a lot of times at night, if you don't touch your baits and you wait right until they're nose to it, you can work them up to 2 feet of water and have them smash you there.
I hope the bite's not that bad.
I've only noticed that at night.
I hope we don't have to do that.
Yeah. No, I've noticed it a couple times, but even during the day and stuff.
I notice a lot more predominantly at night though.
So, there's a question: what structure and depth for those? So, just to follow up on the Central Minnesota question. Yeah, I mean Central Minnesota. Like, honestly, my favorite thing to target is a weed line. But the lakes are so diverse. I can't say a depth because in some lakes, like 15 feet is the same as 25 feet, just based on how the structure lays out. But yeah, like structure, points, inside turns, but I love cover, personally, for me, more than structure even. Like breaks are great, but like weed edges, rock piles, bottom transitions. I mean, it's hard without knowing the lake or going out there and looking around. It's hard to make that assessment.
So now, Nick, you say you like weed coverage. Do you do a lot of fishing where in the summer you're pitching your jigs right into the weeds? 'Cause I had that a lot on Maxwell.
For
That's
sure.
fun, just plucking
For
them
sure.
out of the weeds.
Oh yeah, man. Well, like around home, like you'll get like a lot of like smaller like eater fish will
Yep.
like set up right on the outside weed line, like right
Yep.
on the weed line.
Oh yeah.
And then you'll have some of the bigger fish will like be swimming around on top of the weeds.
Yep.
And I don't know if that's the same in Laxul or
So
whatever.
are they
Definitely
feeding
was.
on bugs? Or are they hiding in the weeds as like a predator, like as an ambush spot?
I don't know that the walleyes ambush per se.
But
I
now-
think they're just kind of cruise. They're just kind of sitting around on top and
Yeah. Just
It's
looking
some-
for whatever.
Yeah, the reason
probably bigger because they're usually the very very biggest fish
Oh.
are the ones on top of
Yeah,
the weeds
yeah.
usually.
Yeah.
So I'm sure they're looking for.
I'm the king of the castle.
They're probably looking for a little bass who thinks he's gonna ambush
Right,
something
right, yeah.
and sneak up behind him and grab him. I don't
Well,
know.
now another thing that I was gonna say is the reason I really liked fishing weed walleyes on Lac Seul is there's a lot of really big muskie in that lake.
Yeah,
Oh,
excellent.
Yeah,
yeah.
but you catch a big muskie on a walleye.
Well, no.
I've seen it done. I've seen a 50 on 6 pound with a ultralight, man. Like
Yeah.
45-minute fight, but
But it's just wild to see. Now you're pitching for walleye and you see, oh, that's a muskie right over there.
Yeah.
oh yeah,
Heck
yeah.
up the other rod.
yeah.
Cast for that
I
guy.
love that.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so much fun.
Like where I do a lot of fishing in the summer and guiding and stuff, Manaki, there'll be so many times you're pulling in, 16, 17. I've seen on 23 and 24-inch walleyes, and either a muskie grabs it or it's hot on its tail. Like it happens so much.
Dominic said, I get all paranoid about my lights. I put foam tip up insulators over my holes and cut my foam to fit the shack real tight to limit light leaks.
Which on this lake or lakes?
That's just what he said.
Oh, okay.
So I would like in Minnesota, I agree with that,
Yeah.
But it does gather bait and like, well, you've got all these sleepers. Like, what's your opinion? Like,
Oh, I lights on.
Your
If you
lights
look,
on, dude.
I tell all the clients keep the lights on because it does. There'll be times like if you leave the lights on all night and in the morning, like the outside lights, not your.
Yeah.
In the morning, there will be a lot of bait under the house, and there'll be fish darting around chasing that bait and stuff. But every lake's different, right? So.
Yeah.
Here it works, there it doesn't. I used to have like lights I'd put in the holes.
Oh,
and
yeah.
it'd blow the hole
Yeah.
underneath the shack. And the bait that would come in was nuts.
A
The
ton,
fish would
yeah.
come in, and then a lot of times
Yeah.
people would forget to take them out. They freeze in the side, and then chopping them out, they end up cutting the line or whatever. But so I don't do that anymore. I just don't leave the the LEDs on the outside out. And in the morning, so often though, it's just littered, and until the sun comes up. Then once the sun comes up, you'll notice they'll start dispersing.
Yeah. Forgot I should just turn the light up here.
There she is.
What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, I've seen like on underwater cameras, where I've shined lights down into the
Yeah.
water. Not in Minnesota because you can't legally do that, but other places. I've seen fish like swimming along the outside of the light. Like you can
Really?
kind of
Really?
see the light, and you can just barely see a fish like skirting around the outside of it.
So, are those like small lakes or big lakes? High pressure lakes? Because I feel like
Probably high pressure.
yeah, that's what I was. Because
Yeah.
there's like high pressure lakes. I find the fish gets wise.
Yeah,
Sure.
sure.
But here, like it's such a big body of water. I'm sure there's some wise fish that have kind of do that stuff. But there's so many fresh fish or new fish, that haven't been caught or don't have sore lips that will just come right in.
I think the other thing is certain species as well. Like I know species that are heavily attracted to light and are going to come in,
Yeah,
and
Yeah.
species that are going to be more shy away from it.
yeah.
So I've had really good
Well,
experiences with driving my truck onto a boat launch at a trout pond.
oh yeah, shining
And
the
then
light. Well, the bait
casting into
fish,
that.
because the bait fish, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Or
when
even-
I lake trout fish though, no light. So whenever I've had the
Really?
lights, whenever I had the lights on lake trout fishing, which is weird because usually I'm in like I like to lake trout where I go 40 to 60 feet of water.
Yeah.
And if I have the lights on, I find I don't catch any fish. And then
Really?
What taught me this is one night I went to bed, I leave dead baits down, and there's some nice fish, but they won't. And so that night we caught like 3 lakers over 40 inches in one night, and it was lights out. So now it's like, nope, lights out, like, or cover the holes. And but I lake trout, I think, they're just a different breed.
Different animal, yeah. It is funny, like, sometimes at home or whatever, like, it's just, you won't barely see a fish, and you turn off the lights, everyone goes to bed, put the rattle reels down,
Click,
and all of a
click,
sudden
click.
the rattle reels
Yeah.
start ripping left and right.
So
But it's different, it's different, different conditions, different, like, all different things, different, probably genetically different fish, probably too. TJ asked, Nick, are you sleeping in your hub tonight? I don't know, maybe. We'll see.
he doesn't have to.
I can crash in
Probably
here.
take my
Yeah.
bed.
Yeah, he's
I'm
going
going
off
home
the-
tonight
he's
for
going-
once.
Oh, you're gone?
Oh yeah, I got a shower. It's been a little while here.
I wasn't going to say anything, but
Okay,
I'm just joking.
I haven't left. He's left more than I have.
No, I probably smell bad.
Dude wipes, man. Dude
Oh,
wipes.
this. I've been having some dude wipe showers every so often.
I'm lucky. My friend lives like right at the access, so I always go to his place. My buddy Will and shower there, and his wife will do my laundry and stuff. So, because I'm out here
Can't beat that, yeah.
I'm out here every day. I think last year from December 28th, I slept in my bed once, right through till April 1st.
Really?
Yeah, everything. It was in the wheelhouse the whole time.
Since the start of this season, I think I've only been in my bed
A few times.
once, twice.
No, you went home for a few
Twice.
days. Yeah.
Well, I was supposed to be home for a few days, and then you called me back out. So I
Oh,
was only
yeah.
in bed for that one night.
Yeah. it is.
Do you guys follow the Minnow Scoop on Instagram?
I do, yeah.
I don't.
That's my favorite page.
They're hilarious. They're so funny.
He said, man, those marks are thick. And they are thick. That one mark, that was in upper 20s for sure. Now, if we could just get any of those guys to come over here and bite.
You know what it's gonna kill is they're hitting that spot.
Yeah.
They're hitting that 15, 20, or 20, 15 to 20 there. And they're
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, you know what? I'm gonna have to go and follow them now. But I know I see a lot of their videos because we share them to each other all the time.
Oh, sure.
Reshare them. They're just too funny.
Brandon, talk about that. Oh, we already talked about that. Yeah, the 36-incher from the North Basin.
Yeah, it's on.
Pull up. Can you pull up a picture? Will it do justice if he shows it to the camera?
If you had an iPhone, we could airdrop it to the computer.
Well,
but-
guess what? I've got a Google, so
Well, no,
I
I have that picture. Or send me that picture.
You don't have it already?
I don't want to go digging through my. I
Well,
do
I
have it.
gotta touch my phone. That's
Oh, don't
use
touch
my-
it. Don't
yeah.
touch your phone. Don't touch your phone.
Yeah.
That's our
Okay,
hard
here,
fine.
I'll see if I can dig it up.
We might lose our internet. We're actually doing this here, so.
Yeah. Has it been good? Like, is seeing it good or?
Oh yeah, I think everybody's saying the feed is good, the audio is good, like, which
That's
is
awesome.
sick. Joe asked, in your opinion, do you think Minnesota's going to put restrictions on forward-facing sonar? No.
I hope not. It's happened to a few states already, apparently, is what I've heard.
I don't think so.
No?
I don't think anywhere has officially done anything.
There's the
I know there's lakes that
that
have.
32, the first client. Yeah, she was paying probably 12, 13.
That's
You know,
dirty.
if you go to our group chat and scroll
I'm
back,
I'm gonna find
Yeah.
that fish. There's too much pictures. Too many fish.
or if you go on the Casting Deck podcast
I'll
and search
find it.
out.
I'll
Oh,
find
sure. Dave said, in the summertime, I see it as more of a problem. Why does LiveScope get so much hate in the winter? Yeah, you know what's funny? This last summer, everybody went nuts. Like, everybody
Right.
went nuts. They're like, oh, LiveScope's the devil. This is terrible.
Yeah.
Everyone, you're cheating. Like,
Right, yeah.
people went nuts this last year.
Yeah.
I didn't see as much before that, but last winter, like, no one said anything about LiveScope. Like,
Yeah.
I just, like, fished, put out videos, put out whatever, Instagram things. Like, no one said anything. And now this winter, all the people are like, oh, well, with all that technology, you should be catching every fish
I
in the
just
lake.
airdropped it to you.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Oh, I gotta accept it, right?
That actually
No.
might.
Did it just go right through?
No, you do gotta accept. That might not be the real big one.
Yeah, let me see. I might, because I caught a second one.
Yeah,
that's-
I think that's
big.
that's not
Is it the photo or
Oh,
the
here,
video?
here, I found the big one.
Airdrop it to me if you can. I might be able to put it on the screen.
Here we go. This is the one. That was the second one, 32, 33?
It was bigger than 33, I believe.
Okay, this is the 36.
It was
coming at
33
you.
something. Still a big fish. It wasn't the 36.
Yeah.
At 36, looks
I
like a
couldn't
zander.
imagine, like, honestly, if I caught that on a line, I'd quit fishing.
Alright, I'm gonna see if I can get this on the laptop here. Let's see. Let's see how. Oops.
Okay, you got it.
I just sent it to you on accident.
I'll just decline.
That's good. That'll work. Let's see.
But imagine, like, oh my god, catching that on a hook and a rod.
Oh, man.
An ice fishing rod. I don't know
You
if that
would lose
fit.
it.
Would it fit through a 10-inch?
No.
It's
Yeah.
got to, because lake trout do.
Yeah, that's true.
That big though, you know? I don't know.
I've had a couple lake trout where it's like you
It
feel
would
like
be
you're
tough.
hurting them trying to get them,
Yeah.
you know.
Alright, let's see. Okay. Let's see where my tech skills are.
I don't know. From what I've seen, they've been pretty spot on.
Walleye picture. Okay. Let's see. Okay. We're getting there. Boom!
A little cut off, but
Here, I can fix that probably. Oh, what am I moving around now? Uh-oh. There we go.
Yeah.
Oh!
that's mental.
That's
Oh, God.
insane.
So this one is 36 inches, right?
Yeah, caught in
And,
net.
and it was in a net.
And released though.
Yeah, I was thankful
Healthy
that,
released.
Thankful that my guy I was looking for let me release her. I was pretty ecstatic hearing the video. I was losing my mind.
I wish there was a good way to get me the video. You don't have the video, do you?
Yeah, you do.
Oh, I do. Yeah. I'm gonna make
The video is like really what does the fish justice,
Oh, yeah, it
honestly.
does.
You might have to mute it.
Well,
I don't know if it'll play audio or not.
Okay.
okay. Good, well, good. Even better.
You know what? I don't have the video. I know you sent it somewhere.
Well, you guys got to see it. I mean, this
Yeah.
is.
That's an
And when
insane
you
fish.
when you see the video, it looks like he's holding like this like big pike. It's like this. It's like whoa.
I
You know
always
what
think
I
of a
mean?
Xander when I see that video.
Yeah, that's
Of a
exactly
Xander.
what it reminds me of.
Yeah.
A Xander.
And it looks almost ridiculous in that picture, and it looks like I'm holding it closer to the camera or way out, but in that video, you can
Yeah.
tell I'm not. Like, I'm holding it. It's,
Oh, look at that guy.
that video is unreal.
And the guy you were with is not like a professional photographer. He's just
No.
a commercial fisherman.
Yeah.
Did you have to convince him to let it go, or was he like,
a little
the
bit,
cheeks on that thing are gonna be the size of hockey
A
pucks?
little bit, yeah. That wasn't too bad. Like, I could tell that he was happy that we let it go as well, but I don't know
I know,
what
like,
the case would have been there if I wasn't there.
but imagine
'Cause
the
that's a lot of
cheeks
money.
on that
That's
thing.
a lot of money in fish right there.
Oh, yeah,
Not
yeah.
Just that one fish.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say
But
a lot,
I-
but it's a good chunk.
Before, like, they had regulations in some bodies of water where they don't have regulations, I've eaten big walleyes, and they do not taste as good. I'm sure there's a way you can prepare them or cook them different, but if you were to do your traditional cooking of a big walleye, like if you were to deep fry bread and stuff, they're not the same. The meat, the texture
Yeah.
is just different. I find it like mushy and soft.
I've eaten some big ones from Lake Erie and
Yeah.
stuff, you know.
and it's just not
See,
the
you know
same.
what? I think
16, 17, man. Those
Ideal.
Those are the
100%
ones I
my-
want to eat.
100% my favorite eaters are 16 to 17. Even 14s and 15s I love.
Yeah,
They taste great. And I think the thing for that is the smaller the pieces, the better they taste.
Right.
You have more coating.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
have... And I'm
Quicker to
Correct.
cook. They
I
don't
might
got to
get a-
sit in the oil right long.
I might get a lot of hate for saying this, but I think walleye is a flavorless fish. It tastes what you cook it in.
Well, yeah.
I might
Oh,
get
no,
a lot of...
Well,
Well, that's the truth.
Yeah.
yeah.
Most of the white meat fish are
Yeah.
They're flavorless. It's
Yeah.
just what you do with it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I know a lot of people that would like bigger walleye more because they like the way it flakes better. And if you cook it at the right temperature, it'll flake nice and still have a lot of moisture to it, but
Be good
not
for
be
a
soft.
chowder or something.
Okay, so I'll just say this. I got two things. Big. I don't. Oh, we were talking about that big one. I'm like, how did we get on this topic?
Yeah.
If you are gonna eat a big walleye, let's say you like accidentally kill one, hook it in the gills or something, and it's dead or whatever. Well, first of all, selective harvest.
Yeah.
You don't need to eat the big ones.
No.
Like,
No.
yeah, just try not to.
Yeah.
But if you do eat a big one, best piece of advice I can give you is you'll cut the you'll chop the you'll knock the sides off those things, and it's like you won't believe how much meat's on it. And my biggest piece of advice would just be to like slim that up to normal size.
Right,
like cut it in
right,
half. Like
yeah.
don't have that big giant fat fillet and throw it on there. It's just not gonna be as good. Like you want to turn that big long fat one into two big long skinny ones.
You'd almost get 4 fillets
Yeah.
instead of
Yeah.
What I would do, and I do it for a lot of fish too, is just nuggets. Nice
Oh
little
yeah,
nuggets.
popcorn chicken. Yeah.
Yeah.
And when I do like a walleye saute, that's all I do. I just cut them up real small, egg
Little
wash,
bites.
bread them. Yeah,
Yeah.
so good. Yeah. And like here now, was it 2 years ago? You can't keep big fish now. We got a slot. And,
21.65. Anything after that's got to go back.
yep. And a lot of guys, are come up here. They used to come up here. They still come up here for trophies and stuff. But the replica game here is my buddy Will, back 40 taxidermy. He actually went down to the States to learn from.
Oh really?
You would probably know that he's a big
Famous one?
Yeah, and he does schools and stuff. He went down there to learn his style to do greenbacks, and man, the replicas and they last longer.
Yeah.
They don't fall apart.
Well, I had a buddy, so he caught a very large crappie, and he was asking me, he was just talking about how he wanted to get it mounted or whatever.
Yeah.
And I was like, get a replica.
Yeah.
Like, they're just like, they hold up way better.
Yeah.
They look, honestly, if it's done well, they look nicer. Because
Oh,
they
yeah.
don't go to crap after a couple of years, like.
And it's sometimes you throw them in the freezer.
Yeah.
Right, and you don't deal with it right away. They don't look as good. The color's
Yeah.
gone.
Yeah.
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 So, I'm really wanting to get my PB pike replicated. I've wanted it replicated for a long time.
Yeah.
And I've caught, I'd say fish that are more impressive or more impacting of a fish. But this story behind this fish is just so heartwarming and makes me think back to it. My favorite fish I ever caught is a 48.5-inch northern. It was on the first lodge I ever guided for.
It's so nuts.
I was there. First day we were there, everyone's fishing off the dock together, big lures for big pike, and I'm looking down there, I'm like, that's ridiculous. I'm not getting involved in that. So that night I go for a walk around the lodge. This is up at God's Lake, northern Manitoba, for Elk Island Lodge. I'm walking around, I see this bay, and I'm just sitting there looking at the bay. No fish, no tackle, and I see little topwater blow-ups, one after another. So I'm like, okay, I know where I'm going
Something's
tomorrow.
chasing bait.
I know where I'm going tomorrow, I'm not telling a soul. So, next day, we're doing camp setup, no clients yet. Next day, I grab my rod and lure after we're done work, and I start walking through the bush so nobody sees me, and I've got my rod, a couple lures, no net, no bump board, my phone, and my Joby tripod.
In your Crocs?
I don't think I was in Crocs that day. I think it was actually in shoes.
He's always been Crocs.
Always got Crocs. Big Croc guy. But I get over on the backside of this bay, and I'm just hammering snot rockets. Hammer handles one after another. I'm getting ready to pack up and leave, and I see a wake coming into the bay. And I think, okay, beaver, muskrat, something. And now it's not just a wake, but it's pushing water. So I'm like, okay, I'll throw a lure at it. Throw a lure at it, scares it off. Now I know it's a fish. I'm stalking this thing around the corner of the bay, just throwing different lures at it. It's not in, it just does one thing. Anything big was grabbing weeds. Anything small was just not working. So I decided, okay, I'm going to throw in a little 2.5-inch Ozuri jerkbait. Get it out there, work it kind of like topwater. So jerk, jerk, let it rise. Jerk, jerk, let it rise. Gets in front of it, hammers it. Freaking out, hooting and hollering. I look down and I see a little 30-inch clamped onto the back of this 3-inch jerkbait. Because I don't see the giant clamped onto the front. So I had two fish on the same lure, and that giant looked like a log in the water.
No way.
So I'm looking
Oh my
down,
gosh.
and then I see that giant move, and the
Where's
30
it
goes
go
flying
for?
off the back, and now I'm really freaking out. I'm losing my mind, hoping somebody hears me screaming and yelling and comes and helps me out. Because I don't got a net, and I've never hand bombed something this big, especially offshore. Get it right in the shore. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna shoot for the gill plate. Shoot for the gill plate. So I got my rod up in the one hand like this. Go to shoot for the gill plate. My right leg slips in the water. I'm doing the split. So I throw the rod. I bear hug this thing. I pull it on the shore. Freak it out. Go to grab my phone, and my phone's dead. So I got this giant phone, giant fish. No picture, no measurement. AK, nobody's gonna believe me. So now I'm really panicking. I'm looking around, and see this little butt end of wire coming up out of the ground. I fish pike enough, so I'm like, okay, start pulling this water out of the ground, pulling this wire out of the ground, strip the wire full of mud, tie it really lightly around the pike's gill plate, and throw it back in the water. Put a rock on the end of the wire and sprinted back to camp as fast as I could.
Oh, that's hilarious.
And I'm not a runner, never mind a sprinter. So I get back to camp, I'm tasting blood, I'm looking for my buddy in his room, can't find him. Get to the top of the dock, I'm screaming at the down of the dock, I need somebody on the phone and a tape measure now. But he comes running up, what's going on? Like, I swear I got a 50 incher strung up, let's go. He's like, what? I was like, shh, let's go. We get over there, get the measurements, and get the healthy release, and just the way it kicked off. I remember once it kicked off so strong and healthy, I remember being on the rocks fighting tears. Just such an unreal fish.
Fish of a
Still
lifetime.
alive. Yeah,
That's
still
such a
alive. They
giant.
caught it the same next
really?
year. They caught it next year.
What? Someone
Yeah.
else caught a guest or?
I think it was a guest, yeah.
Was it longer, or was it the same
They
length?
said it was the same length.
Wow.
48 and a half.
Yeah.
That's about what it tops off at.
Yeah. Well, they have one. I think it was caught at the lodges a long time ago. But they have one in a case that I think is just under 50, or it is
No, it's
50.
over.
It's over.
You're
and this
52.
thing, yeah, it's insane. Like
Yeah.
I wouldn't even want to
Yeah.
swim. Like
Yeah, for real. That's such a beast. Well, you guys have seen, like you were saying, just how you saw the fish. Like, you guys both musky fish,
Oh, yeah,
right?
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And, like, throwing in top water, and then all of a sudden your top water starts to lift up
Yeah.
in the water because the muskie's behind it, like,
Oh.
pushing so much
Oh,
water.
yeah. The
Right.
best is when you see the second wake.
Yeah.
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
and
Yeah.
then they'll come from like.
Yeah.
That is the best.
That is the best. Murphy asked if I've ever fished the Duluth Harbor. It's funny you asked that because I've almost fished it like 4 times, but I haven't fished it yet.
The thought was there.
The thought was there, and I know it's good. Logan asked. He said he's coming up to Brainerd on Wednesday. How much snow did they get, 4-wheeler or snowmobile? So I haven't been home because I'm in Winnipeg, but I'd heard we got quite a bit of snow. I would say based on the fact there was 0 snow when I left, and I think they got at least a few inches. I think you could probably do both if you went up there. Would be my 2 cents. Joe said these fish would be hitting if you were sitting on a bucket outside.
With or without a live scope.
Yeah, right.
Actually, I don't know if you saw, but just back there was actually one darting up chasing some bait.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Real Canuck, hey Nick, there's going to be a charge for 25% tariffs when you take back your Canadian fish.
He's always got
that's
the
a-
wittiest comment.
That's good. That is good. What did our Doug Ford say? We're gonna cut off all the power to you guys if we get tariffs like that.
Yeah, that's funny.
Enjoy your lights while you can.
It's gonna be a lot, yeah.
And we do have a ton of running guns still available, so get them while you can.
Yeah, we'll start adding tariffs on that too.
All right, Bailey asks, what rods are you guys using? You can just go through real quick. What do you got on?
This is a 13 Wicked Pro.
How long?
36.
Okay.
Yeah.
This one's a little big for fishing in the house, but a 40-inch tuned up Vulcan. That's what I got.
So my rods are in my truck, in my
So you're
rod
using
holder.
his rod?
So I'm using Chris's rod right now, but my go-to rods out here are the Timber Wilderness Blue Steel V2 Tournament Series rods. Love them, unreal.
This.
And the Elliott Evolution.
Yeah, there we go.
Elliott Evolution is, I don't know what's better. I think I like, no, I can't say. I like them both equally.
I normally, these are, so I've had a lot of clients break rods. They don't end up good.
You gotta have
This
a big
rod
pile
is
of rods.
this is an
Yeah.
awesome rod. This is a great rod. It does all the things. But for me personally, would be the Elliott. I love their rods, the feel, the bend. You know, the way they like. These are great rods. Like they'll take a fish. You know.
Yeah.
But that Elliott is a lighter rod too.
Yeah.
So these are great rods. But because they get broken a lot, I just can't have 20 Elliott rods in every house, and so it would get very expensive and pricey. So, but these are great. These Wicked Pros. So, and for in the house, good perfect length.
Yeah, I can't imagine. I like having like my own nice fancy rods, and I got them all like. I can't even pick up someone else's rod.
Yeah.
I'll be like, oh man, like I don't like the line
You
you're
never
running,
know.
or you know what I mean, or like whatever it is. But like I can't imagine like being a guide. Like you guys, you gotta have.
Yeah.
Not only do you need to have like stuff that's just rigged good, but you gotta have stuff like people are gonna like set their rod down and go get something, come back and step on it,
Or the
like,
fan above you, or
Yeah.
or people walk by, grab the rod, and
All of a sudden you look over and your Muskie Legend Tournament lead is broken in half. And you're like, how did that happen? And nobody has
that
an
has
answer.
warranty though.
That's weird.
Oh yeah, I'm still waiting on my warranty from the summer.
I guess we could rapid fire this one. If you guys from Canada could fish any lake and species in the States, what would it be?
Tarpon.
Tarpon. That's good. I like that.
My fish I've been chasing forever is a sailfish. Oh, lake. Okay.
Tarpon, stripers, or gar.
I think gar.
Gar?
would be
Yeah,
fun.
that'd be cool.
It's a big
Yeah.
Texas
Yeah.
gar.
And
And now
They-
any fish in the world would
the
be
way
an
they fight
Arapaima.
and stuff.
Or Paima.
Arapaima.
In
Or,
like
or
South
Gold
America.
Dorado. Or El
I
Dorado.
think Xander, man. If I
Xander
could
would
win,
be
I want to
sick,
do
yeah.
Xander. That would be cool.
I'm tired.
Walleye
of
on steroids.
Yeah.
Come on.
Xander would be fun, but I don't know, man. Those golden dorados are fish in Thailand. They're
Yeah.
so cool looking. Those weird looking catfish.
What are
white
those?
stripe?
What are those massive fish? You'll see guys fishing little sloughs, and they're like
Arapaima.
10 feet long, and they
And
just
they're
eat
like
top
body
water.
armor?
They eat like whopper ploppers and stuff.
I think that's what I'm thinking of, and they kind of look like
They look like a
giant-
massive catfish, but the tail's different.
Wells
Is it maybe like
catfish?
a carp?
Maybe, but
Do
they're
they
like,
have like a burbot tail?
yes,
That's
and
I think that's a Wells
they're
catfish.
just insanely long.
Oh yeah, I know what you're
Enormous.
talking
Yeah,
about.
like
Yeah.
10
Yeah.
feet and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That
several
would be-
hundred pounds.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
really
that'd
cool
be
too,
cool.
yeah.
too.
That would be pretty nuts. And then you're in the water when you're kind of holding it. Like imagine holding something that big. It'd be like holding a manatee. You know?
Well,
Like,
I just did for the first time ever. I went for sturgeon in BC.
oh,
So it's been a bucket list trip for me forever. I've always talked about it. I finally went and did it, and it was the same kind of thing. I think I got it. It was 8,
you
10.
can't legally pull them out of the
No,
water.
so
there.
you jump in, you put waders
Yeah.
on, you jump in, and that's how. And you couldn't even lift it if you tried. So you just take the tail picture or whatever. And if they're under, I think 5 feet, you can actually hold them and take them in the boat.
Is it-
Yeah.
yeah.
But that was like the most exhilarating fish I ever fought.
I can't imagine.
Like
yeah.
you're shaking, just seeing
They
this
get
fish.
so big over
oh,
there too.
Insane.
Well, like the Rainy is really, they got awesome sturgeon there.
Yeah, I
like,
know, yeah.
big ones,
Yeah.
you know,
I'd
but
love
like
to
the
go.
white sturgeon are kind of next
Yeah.
level over out west.
Oh yeah.
So
but
now-
I'd still love to do that Rainy River run.
Now, one of my dream fish that used to be that I
You guys
Keep
keep talking
putting
about
on the
dream
back-
fish. I gotta go to the bathroom.
back
Yeah.
burner, but I think would still be a lot of fun. Be halibut, getting a barn door.
Oh yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
So,
I'll
which
fix
idea?
it. Yeah, you're good.
Yeah?
I'll fix it. Yeah.
Alright. Well, I guess I didn't know if you had the bathroom or whatever.
Oh yeah, you could have done that too. The dry flush. I got you.
I wouldn't even do it yet because I probably got to go right after you.
It's all in the technique, boys. It's all in the technique. I think we got a little more frost built up too, though. We might have broke the seal.
Uh-oh.
Everyone's running. What's going on?
We gotta
I'll
go.
just leave it open. So what we're fighting with there is the door.
Because of we plugged into the wall, we were getting a dirty signal on the live scope. So we ran an extension cord from outside and we had it in between the door, and he opened the door, and now there's couldn't wedge it back, but when he gets back, I'll mess with it. So I'm not going to fix it before he gets back. So dream fish,
Halibut.
freshwater.
Okay, so is arapaima or arapaima freshwater? Now that's the question.
I don't
I know
think
they're in
so.
rivers.
Oh, there goes the
There's
furnace.
small rivers in the Amazon because the Amazon
Yeah.
River is considered fresh. And I don't even know what the proper term for it is. So
So
I've heard
that-
people call it arapaima, and I've heard people call it arapaima.
That 48.5-inch pike, is that your most memorable favorite fish memory?
I've ever caught,
Yeah.
for sure. You know what? That 54-inch muskie that I caught on a lax stool this past summer, probably pretty up there, pretty darn close. But that pike is, oh,
Yeah.
there's nothing like that pike. I mean,
What fought harder?
the pike.
The pike?
But I think it's only because, you know what? It's hard to say. Because I hooked that one in a figure eight.
Right,
beside the
right.
boat. But then on the other hand, I hooked that one in a figure eight by myself with a net I probably shouldn't have been using in a tinner.
Are you going out? Because if
Oh.
you're going to go out, I'm not going to fix it.
You know what? I might as well.
Put your Crocs on.
I don't have my Crocs. I was going to tell you to pick them up. I got these boots with cleats on.
Go barefoot.
That's not a terrible
Show them how
idea.
they do it in Manitoba.
Should I fill the gen too?
The other night, our generator ran out about 2 a.m. He's in his Gitch boxers. And
It was cold.
I got a picture of it too. He ran out there and filled the generator standing there in his Gitch.
That was one of that really cold nights. And it was
Yeah.
because I was, he told me to fill the gen, and I forgot, and I went and started laying down and passed out, and he goes, oh, the darn generator went out.
Yeah.
And I go, he goes, oh, he goes, yeah, I told you to fill it. I'm not too happy, so I'm like, you know what, I'm just gonna get up and go fill it. He's like, put some clothes on. I'm like, nope, I'm going and filling it. Filled it right to the brim.
Yeah. My word. -30. I'm sure hoping to get a big dog. Don't worry about it. I'll deal with it after.
Wanted to try. Someone asked too, what line
So
do you
this
usually use?
I got. This is 8, I believe. Power Pro Ice, the blue, and then I have Seagar 8 fluoroliter.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you go 8 and 8 usually.
Yeah, yeah. Depends, like, what I'm doing. Lake trout, I'll do 30 to 20, 50 to 40, 50 to 30, you know, so,
Okay.
yeah.
That's what. So I always run 6 and 6
Yeah.
at home, and like one time I came up here, I just like left all my stuff as is,
Yeah.
and like I didn't break any fish off. You know, I caught big fish, and
Yeah.
it just is what it is, right?
Right.
But I did upsize for this trip. I got 10. I got 10 and 10 for
Yeah,
this
you
trip.
hate, and it's still, that fish still broke you off.
Okay, this is
Yeah,
charging
with the
the
10, yeah.
laptop.
But remember, it got
Yes.
stuck. It got
We
stuck.
need this plugged
We
in.
need
We
that
need
plugged
that,
in.
yeah.
Okay.
Otherwise,
Yeah.
we wouldn't have been doing it.
Yeah, it's a long story, but logistically, there's a lot going on.
I tried to explain it to them while you're out there. 'Cause
Yeah.
I was like, they're probably wondering what I'm doing over here.
There's a lot going on in
Yeah.
this setup, so.
A lot of wires.
But yeah, there's 300 people watching, and what I want to know. So normally when I do like these live streams, like we're in all kinds of places, you know, like
I got it, man. You
Red,
gotta come up with it a bit.
Red Lake or where else have I done? Just central Minnesota.
I
and
think that
whatever.
wire stiffed up too.
The one thing I'm curious about, if you're watching this, so we're up on Winnipeg. How many of you are from Canada? How many? Just let me know in the comments where you are watching this from. What state you're from? What province you're from? What country you're from? What lake are you on? If it's your secret lake, don't say the name of it. But yeah, let me know in the comments. I want to know. And even if you're one of those lurkers who just likes to watch and not comment, you know, because the vast majority of people just watch. A lot of you probably have it on your TV or whatever, so it's kind of hard to comment. But if you can, let me know where you're watching from. I always like to see it, and I kind of want to know if it's going to be like a little bit different because we're actually up on Winnipeg right now. So
Past you, sorry guys. Here, I got an idea.
What?
we're trying to we're actually like propping the door up right now. It's a little bit of a
There, Whoop, don't move. Don't touch it. Just go. I got her.
let's see here. Alright.
It's too bad this was one of the nights when the fish were just crushing, you know.
It is what it is, I guess.
That's fishing.
Well, it's,
I wonder how some of the other shacks are doing.
That's a good question. I mean, it's like insanely cold.
Yeah.
It is what it is, you know?
Oh yeah.
You win some, you lose some. But either way, we're doing it, we're fishing, and it's an
Still
easy
got
deal.
rods in the water.
Yep. And there's some swimming around, you know?
Yeah, I'm just scared of the garment.
That's exactly.
And I don't like, I'm not a pro or con, but we have caught so many fish right under the cone, it's not even funny. I really think it's just on their attitude.
Yeah.
So, have you heard that myth about when someone's talking about you, your ears ring?
Oh yeah.
I wonder if their ears are ringing down there.
I don't know, I've never seen a fish with ears.
My wife is in the chat. She said just got back, any fish. So we got one so far. We had another one come up too, like knows it or whatever, which he wouldn't snap. But yeah, we do have one. We didn't skunk.
Yeah, and we've seen a few.
We've seen a few, yeah. But they're moving pretty slow. It's nice.
Who's working that second one?
What's that?
Who's working that second fish?
That was me.
I think it's a skill issue.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah.
I think you're right.
And I was on the rattle baits.
Yeah. Yep.
But it was interesting. But that fish, look at how long I had to work it right up pretty much to just below the ice before it actually took,
Yeah.
you know.
Someone asked, Gaune, did you find any jerry cans on the ice the other day? No?
I don't think so.
You must be missing some jerry cans.
Me or they are?
They.
Oh.
They.
No, I didn't see any jerry cans. I found a lot of things on this lake: rod cases, augers, batteries.
Yeah.
You know,
Where's the sauce?
which
Said-
which sauce? The hot sauce?
No, that's in his name. Said,
Oh,
what's the... any burbot, and what's the biggest? So how big was that one you caught? That was like an eater.
yeah. Oh, the 16,
Yeah.
17.
Yeah. It's like an eater size. No burbot yet. I did catch a burbot.
If you
the
want
other
to
night,
catch burbot, fillet your fish and throw them down the hole.
though.
You'll catch burbot and pike. But I've had people where they'll fillet fish and they'll throw them down the hole, and usually the walleye bite kind of dies.
Yeah?
Yeah, and then one time my buddy Corey, he dropped his Dakota lithium down the hole, and the bite just
Really?
like he was on fish, catching fish consistently every day. There's one swimming away, and he was doing pretty good. And then after he lost that battery, it was like 3 days of nothing.
Really?
Yeah, so we tried getting it back. We couldn't get it back. I tried to magnet and everything, but
Well, now there's
then he ended up moving.
So it's funny because I was talking to Kris. There's some times that I've gone out ice camping, and I remember when I was younger, 5 years ago, I went and I tried putting a bunch of pop cans in the hole to cool off my pop, right? I've got about 12 of them, maybe
And
a little more.
they float
And
until
then
they
all of a
don't.
sudden I look and they start sinking one by one, and I'm scrambling to pull them out. And Kris said, yeah, I had about a Coke can sink, a red Coke can sink one time, and just hammered the fish on top of it.
Twice.
Really?
The Coke can, man. Guys, don't start throwing Coke cans
Yeah,
down
do
your
not.
hole.
This is a slippery slope.
Yeah, but 2 times Coke can went in the hole, and I believe it or not, I had a guy do the same thing. I wasn't there. He told me after. He had a Monster energy drink. Had it the same thing, trying to chill it in the hole.
Yeah.
It went down, and he caught it. He caught the Monster on the tab. Like in a
That's
few hours
insane.
later. Yeah, I was like, you offer the guy $1 million to do that, you ain't gonna
Yeah.
catch that thing. Like
Oh.
on the tab yet.
With an underwater camera, and it's got this loop hanging off
Yeah,
it, and
yeah.
you can't barely
Right?
catch it. You know.
Actually,
hook
Brandon
stuff.
did a phone recovery yesterday.
Yesterday,
Yesterday, he
Really?
did a phone recovery.
yeah.
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 Had the underwater, had the
Yeah,
aqua view.
with an underwater camera.
Yep. Yep. And a tantrum. A giant tantrum that I use for pike and lake trout.
Man, I dropped an underwater camera today. I couldn't see anything.
Oh, you gotta.
It was like
You
the
gotta be
middle of
right
the
on
day.
top of
that.
It was like black.
You can
I was in 9 feet of water, or 10 feet.
really because usually you can see about a foot.
I couldn't even barely see that.
You were by the red.
I
said you're out by the
was
mouth,
towards the mouth
current,
of the river.
dirtier water.
Yeah.
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 See,
You
over,
also bring it
over
from-
here, like, even looking at this water, like, is it clearer than what you're at today? Because I know there's sometimes at the East Channel in the red, you can find mud lines, and it's good.
Sure.
Oh, yeah.
In
But
the mud or outside the mud?
outside the mud. On
Yeah.
the edge. You
Yeah.
find that edge. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've had that in the East Channel last March, actually. I was doing a running gun, and it was like drilling, just dirty water. Sandy, brown, stained water. And then I was like, okay, and then I found the edge of that water, and it was good. It was lights out. We're catching like
Yeah.
crazy, and you go try to fish and put a hole in the dirty water, nothing. But
Sure.
on that edge, we'd get them. But that's the fall.
That's
or
cool.
In the spring when it's
Yeah.
starting to run, and
Yeah.
you're getting all the
You can
flow.
target it, yeah.
Yeah.
I've noticed that on other lakes as well for different species.
I've always had in the summer, you get a wind
Yeah.
line, a dirty water wind line, and
But even so, one of my favorite lakes, you'll
Oh.
notice,
Come on.
that in the
Some
mud
lag
you'll
it.
find
Yeah.
splake, or wait, no, so just outside the mud you'll find splake, in the mud you'll find brown trout, and then way outside of the mud line you'll find lakers.
yeah, I've never fished Lakers shallow or anything like that in the summer. No, I go for
Well-
spring. I don't get much time to do, but I go in the spring and I do more lake trout fishing through the ice.
See, and now
Yeah.
when I was guiding up at Great Slave Lake, we always had certain times of the year we'd target them different. So the first few weeks,
Oh, you
always
cast in shallow, right?
not even cast, we're trolling spoons in 8 feet of water to
Oh, that'd be fun.
20 feet of water, and it's a time.
I've always, like Greg always told me from God's there, he always told me casting in the spring or in the is it fall or spring?
Spring.
Yeah, and it's just like, man, I don't love to just have a lake trout smash. Like,
Okay,
oh
no,
man.
Lake Trout Smash Fest is casting late fall when they move up.
Oh, okay,
late
that's
fall,
what
when
he
all,
said,
all
yeah.
the lodges are usually closed down.
But I
by
know,
then.
like, my buddy there from Clearwater, he said one year they got out, as soon as the ice broke out in the bay,
Yeah.
like, the lake was still all frozen.
Yep.
And the ice broke out in the bay. They got a boat in there, and they just trolled T60s, and they,
Sucker
like,
them.
did he catch 8? I can't remember, 8 trophies. Like,
Really?
just, yeah, it was Jeff and someone, I can't remember, but they just smashed them, pulling
Yeah.
T60s in the shallows.
Yep.
And they couldn't go anywhere. They could just do circles in the bay because
Yep.
there was ice everywhere.
And now that's the other thing.
Yeah.
So T60s work amazing on specific lakes. We couldn't run them. We couldn't run T60s at all on Great Slave because they just pick up vegetation right away.
Yeah.
And you want to run that
Yeah.
nose in the sand, so it looks
Yeah.
like it's kicking up.
I
like a
actually
sucker.
used a couple T60s this year, musky trolling.
Oh yeah,
And yeah, got one good one.
they run crazy.
They're so erratic, right?
Oh,
Just,
yeah. Yeah.
back and forth.
Yeah. I've never done lake trout open water before.
I
We just don't even have them like around home or
Right.
anything, so it's a whole
Yeah.
trip every time.
it'd
but-
be another
or don't
7
have much
hours
of it.
from here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's the deal.
And you'd have some, like, you go
Yeah.
around Father's Day weekend, man, like, you get usually 50 fish days every day with a few giants and
And see, I guided lake trout an entire summer on one of the best lake trout lakes in the entire world.
well, that's
so.
clear water.
Yeah.
That's just, it's,
Also, before I get called out in the comments, like, we do have lake trout near where I live, but it's just, when I think of lake trout, I'm thinking of like,
big lake trout.
just, you know, like, where I really want to go lake trout fishing is
Yeah,
not around
yeah.
home per se.
That's like when I see people going way into, don't hate on me, but way into Ontario to target lake trout. I'm like, okay, Clearwater's 6 hours up north on a good drive.
Yeah, why
no
not just
stops.
go up there?
Yeah,
and-
but there is big lake trout in Lake of the Woods. They're very hard to find,
Yeah.
but think of like,
super hard to find.
yeah, and if you do catch one, think of like the accomplishment, right?
Yeah.
Like, you know, right? Like you
true.
did, like, I fished, I started lake trout fishing Lake of the Woods, and I caught one big one ever.
Yeah.
And like a really big one that would, like, you know,
Yeah.
you go to Clearwater, you catch, I've probably caught over a dozen, like
Yeah.
more, right? Like,
Yeah.
it's unreal. But the accomplishment, okay, you finally got one of these giants, and when you get them, man, they're cool color. They're not
Yeah.
like up there. They're more of a grayish white, unless you get an old dark one. I
Yeah.
feel like those are like deep water fish. That's
Yeah.
just me. I'm not, you know, biologist or anything. That's just my theory. But
Okay, so what I've been told about lake trout from when I worked up at Great Slave I think there's 6 different genetic types of lake trout within.
Oh, like the
Great
red
Lake.
fin, yellow
There are
fin.
different genetics for sure.
So and then you're thinking not Tobin, what's that other one? Tasman.
Tasman.
They
I
look-
want to go to
They
Tasman.
look super. They almost look ugly, but they're cool looking fish. Those would be neat. They almost look like really old and ugly, but man, they're cool.
And sometimes you'll get like snub nose ones.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And they say the clears grow bigger faster. The ones that you see in clear water,
Yeah.
they say they grow a lot bigger faster.
in clear water, you're allowed to keep 2, I think, or 1. I can't remember if it's 1 or
I think
2.
it's 1 now.
Yeah, it used to be 2, I believe. And it's funny because you'll catch one, and now when we go to keep one, you always want to keep a red fin because that meat's red.
Oh.
It's like looks like salmon, and then you'll catch one that's not a red fin and it's more
Really?
iridescent. Yeah.
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 Specifically different.
Yeah.
And now bringing up that, so I do a lot of stock trout fishing, and you can go to, say for example, Barbie. You go at a certain time of year when they're feeding on shrimp.
Oh yeah, the meat's
buddy.
pink.
But you
That's
go at
cool.
a different time of year where they're feeding on bugs, and that you catch that exact same fish, and that meat's gonna be white.
And they taste different.
Yep.
Clearly. Yeah.
And that's all because the
Okay. Now, what's your favorite fish to eat?
ooh, probably fresh caught when we caught a king salmon when I was out commercial fishing on the border of Alaska on the Taku River.
That'd be good. That'd be good.
But I don't know.
You, Nick?
That's a tough one, I would say, like, for just, like, normal fish, like, if you're saying, like,
Crappie, perch,
Walleye
walleye,
versus- yeah.
pike,
Okay, yeah.
burbot.
like, of that, like, group,
Stock trout.
of that group, I would say perch.
Ah,
Like,
yeah.
I like perch the most out of, like, the bass walleye,
Yeah.
you know, pike, whatever.
have
I was
eaten
gonna,
much
I go.
stock trout?
I was gonna go.
Stock trout?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've had it, yeah.
And
I'd go
you don't like it
crappie.
over?
No, I'm not saying that's not the same category
Oh,
in my
oh,
brain.
yeah.
I'm talking about
Huh,
the white
Nothing
flesh,
stocked.
just
Yeah.
normal, like the
Okay.
I guess just like normal species, the non-trout, the non
Right.
whatever.
Okay.
And then I would say like if I'm outside of that just like general range,
Yep.
I would say I love. That's tough. I don't know if I might be forgetting something I really like, but smoked whitefish.
Oh yeah, that's good.
I really
That's
like
good.
that.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that's
Well, we got
That's
an
up there.
abundance of moon eye and gold eye here too, and they're really, really good.
Actually.
stuff.
yeah.
But I mine's crappie. I love
Yeah?
crappie. Yeah.
Okay. So I think within your guys' general terms, what you consider normal fish, because I grew up stock trout fishing, that's normal.
Well, when I say normal, I mean like that category where it's
White-
like
white.
the white meat,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
white bland meat, like
yeah,
The flavorless meat, as you would say.
yeah.
I would say crappie, or like I said, don't give me a lot of hate for this, but certain rivers, smallmouth.
Oh, I've never liked smallies.
You know what? Smallies out of Lee River are unreal.
Really. I know,
don't
and
what it
then
is.
pike too, shallow like or
Yeah,
cold water
pike are
pike.
good.
Cold water
Cold
pike.
They're really
water.
good
They have
to
to
me,
be
yeah.
cold water
Yeah.
pike though. Yeah.
If you lined up like fillets of walleyes and pike and blah blah blah, you will pick if you just blind taste test.
Yep.
You will pick the pike
That
every
would be
time
cool
over
to
the
do,
walleye.
to have
Yeah.
some crappie, perch, pike, burbot, you know?
rank these.
Yeah, and then like, okay, blindfold.
Okay,
Which is,
so
yeah.
you know what?
All cooked the same way.
yeah.
Me and guides used to do on God's Lake all the time.
Trick your guess or make them guess.
Make them guess, and they would never be able to guess right. Not a
Sure.
single time they could guess it right. The difference.
The first time I had burbot was up there, and I was blown away. I actually
Yeah.
started eating it more than the walleye.
Yeah.
I was like, wow.
Do you
this-
just boil it too?
No, they didn't. It was just deep fried, just like walleye.
Oh, really?
They didn't do nothing. Yeah, it was shore lunch on yeah. And we had walleye, we had pike, we had burbot, and I was reaching for the burbot after.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now you know how I just said my favorite fish ever was that salmon that I caught commercial fishing.
Yeah.
yeah.
I definitely like. So I remembered. So my favorite fish I've ever, it'll blow your mind, is a dirty catfish out of the Red River, smoked, unreal.
I've heard
Steak
it's
and
good.
smoked.
Oh, but
Holy smokes,
I think
is that
those,
unreal?
Those fish are just too ugly to eat.
Oh man, best fish, and just steak. It's, I don't know,
Oh,
smoked. It's
I
a
think-
nice, really nice, oily.
Yeah.
It's like smoked
That
eel.
hump
If you ever
there
had
keeps
smoked eel?
kicking me.
I know. I had a catfish once down south. We were in Missouri.
Mhm.
And I had it. They had it as at a restaurant, and it was not good.
No, you know what? So here's the
At
thing.
a restaurant, yeah.
So here's the thing. Before I smoked it, I gave up on it because I was told it was good, and I tried chunking it up and doing how they do blue cast down states, and I thought it was absolutely terrible, atrocious. Couldn't do it. And then somebody told me try smoking it. And I bring one home, and I'm looking, how do I even cut this thing? So I'm taking a hacksaw and doing it, and cutting it into these steaks like I was told. And holy, I gotta do that again. I gotta do it again.
Yeah, I've never.
It's so good.
I think I've tried it, but it wasn't like, oh, I need this in my life.
You know, I haven't. I only did it the once, and I don't know why I haven't done it again. Because man, was it and I've smoked a lot of fish. I've done goldeye, whitefish, ciscos, pike, every kind of freaking stock trout and lake trout, salmons, fresh caught salmons.
You're gonna grow gills soon. All the fish you eat.
Brendan said, I tried catfish in Arizona and it was amazing. Not sure I would eat one out of the red though.
Well, he's heard about what goes on down there.
Well,
I can tell some stories about a couple things that I've seen pictures and stuff where people have cut up catfish from the red and what they found in their bellies, and not very good.
I'll get skipped off.
Yeah. I don't know. I just. They growl at you, and I don't know. Not my favorite. And I don't like them in my boat because they're so slimy and messy. Whenever I catfish, I have a Rubbermaid, throw them in there, measure them, let them go. They are fun to catch, man. They just dig and dig and dig.
Oh, I love catfish.
Yeah,
we used to have like an annual trip. We'd go to the Red River and catch catfish, but not up there though.
Yeah.
Which, like, honestly, down in, like an hour north of Grand Forks, it's nuts. It is nuts.
Really?
So insanely good. But I've heard from the people who know the river, like, it's even better up north, like in your guys' neck of the woods.
Well, I live at Lockport.
So when you're,
I mean, I'm not telling you, but I'm telling you, like, for as nuts as it is down there, I've heard it's just better up here.
Well, when it's going, like man, there'll be 50 boats sitting below the locks at Lockport. It's like bumper boats. People are fighting to get in front of the one lock that usually has, it's crazy.
What's fun about catfish, especially at Lockport, is you go down there at 11 at night and you start a fire and you sit by the fire and just hammer them until 2-3 a.m.
Yeah, and dead stick off
That's
the shore.
so cool.
Yeah.
And like kids, like you can wear people out quick too, though. Like
they're hard. Yeah, they're tough. Yeah.
Like I've never guided for them. I have friends that have guided for them. There's like sometimes people quit at noon just because they're like, my arms are rubber.
This is all I need.
Yeah, I can't. Oh, Brendan, what is that?
The bait fish from the
Oh
nose.
That's no bait
That's not
fish.
bait.
Come
No.
on. Ooh.
No.
Oh, that's got some
good
size
fish.
too. Come
What about
on.
your little buddy over
Coming
here?
up,
on,
it's going
Nick.
down, eh?
No. Flip it down. Drop it in the dirt.
can't
Turn
see.
that fish. Flip it, man. Come on.
Oh,
my
no, it's
goodness.
a big
There
one.
it's going. It's chasing the bait. Look at the minnows disperse.
Yeah.
It's chasing those minnows.
Oh, that's so cool, man. Hey,
Right?
I'm a bait fish.
Yeah. Oh, that thing's just
Look how
got a
fast
mouthful.
it's moving too. It's cruising
Come
around.
back, and it's hungry. Oh
We
man, that
messed up
hurts,
there.
eh?
Yeah.
I thought it was a bait fish until you turned that camera.
I've been watching the screen.
That panel.
I spent a lot of time looking at them.
Dang it, that was a hog, man.
Yeah, I know.
That's the kind that would just come on scoop your spoon quick too.
That's where, like, I wish.
That was definitely a skill issue.
that was
That was your skill. It was
that
not you.
That
No,
was a
100%.
skill issue. No. Shoot. Okay, well, we're still in the game here.
Yeah.
We may stick a giant yet.
They're swimming around.
We call that a DFO issue. Dumb something operator.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you think you're gonna come back up again this season?
I think I'm definitely coming back up this season.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Every time it's
Bring
funny.
some warmer weather this time.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
Not
Dude.
these winter hurricanes.
Just tell me when the most important weeks are for you, and I won't show up.
Yeah.
Every time I go anywhere, even if the forecast says it's going to be nice, it gets so cold.
You bring it
like,
with you, eh?
the forecast changes for me.
And we're getting it pretty much almost. I don't know what it'd be in Fahrenheit, like a 30-degree swing from on Wednesday, it's gonna be like
Get
almost
hot,
zero.
nice again.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Which is the first day I have open in the last week.
Yeah. The one day he doesn't have to run and gun is gonna be gorgeous.
It's like, if anybody wants to book that
I
day,
think Mother Nature is not too happy with you.
no, that'd be a great. I'd love to guide that day.
Well,
Well,
so
just go fishing.
we probably
No.
got a different crew in here at the moment too. So, give just a little intro on who both of you guys are. Because I think if they're watching, they probably know who I am. So,
Oh, right,
but
yeah.
just a little period. So, Kris, you can go. Like, what's your deal?
Well, I'm owner operator of Gaune Fishing, and I rent out big fish. Sorry, sidetracked. I rent out the ice houses for day use and overnight use. I got a bunch of them out here on the lake, and I move them around. I try to keep them on pods of fish. I'm always looking for fish. Brandon works for me. He runs around. He's always looking for fish. He's always on fish. He's taking clients out fishing. Very few days go by where he doesn't get big fish. You know, some days you don't. Yeah, that's pretty much it. He's the running gun man, and I am the one that's taking care of all the broken generator, all the stuff to keep these houses going. You know, getting bait, whatever it may be. So.
Well, there you
I
go.
got a little bit of a hand in that this year now too.
Yeah.
Teach me a little bit of the ropes over there
Yeah.
on that end of things. So
It's all hands-on learning because you never know what problem can occur out here.
yeah.
Oh.
A guy with a crankbait tattoo on his neck can eat any fish out of any water.
Is that Kevin?
That
Real
was Joe.
quick. Okay.
Joe said that.
Okay. There you go.
Yeah. I still wish you would have got the Gone Fishing logo in that crankbait.
You didn't have that out yet.
Yeah, I know.
I wouldn't have.
Oh. Brandon, there's one creeping on the
That's
bottom
bait
there.
fish.
No,
Just
it's
kidding.
But he's getting closer. I'd pound sand. And if anyone, like Lake Winnipeg, there is structure very far north. You got some structure, you got some rock piles and rock shorelines and stuff. But where we are in the South Basin, you got maybe a couple little rock piles out from one of the creeks here. But mostly we're fishing sand, mud bottom. There's no structure. It's a big bowl. And you're just hoping for a bite here and there. No, but it's like there's nothing. You're not. You know, you go to Lake of the Woods. I'm sure you go to your lakes. You got weed lines. You got rock piles. You got current breaks. You got here. It's just a big bowl. So
There's no rhyme or reason for why the fish are there. They're either there or they're not.
yeah, and there's a few accesses up north where you can. You scared them. There's a few axes up north where there is like rocky shorelines, and you'll get some boulders and stuff. And I believe also out from Winnipeg Beach, there's a rock pile. So there is a few. You get some angler's edge mapping.
Yeah, I've seen some of that.
Or even the
Interesting,
hummingbird.
yeah.
All the new mapping that's been done has shows all that structure and stuff. So it does and they do. Some of that structure does hold fish, but you can honestly be in 2 feet of water to 22 feet of water, and there's gonna be fish somewhere. You just gotta find them.
There were like a bunch of people, or they said where they're from. There were a lot of people from the States, a lot of people from Minnesota, a lot of people. There were quite a few people from Canada too, but a lot of people from the States for sure. And I would say like Winnipeg fishes, to me, it fishes like really similar to Red Lake in my experience. So it's like the same deal.
Yeah, big bowl.
Big bowl, the fish are roaming around. I think like here you can make more hay by running around and trying to find them.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Like red, like it just seems like there's just kind of fish just kind of swimming.
Do they spook easy too? Like if you're,
Not really.
yeah.
No.
Because there's times like we fish shallow the mouth sometimes, and there's some flats here and there, and you'll see like how, let's just here. You'll see this on the bottom. You'll see kind of just looks like a rock, right? Just like that, and there'll be fish laying there. And some days you can just drill right on top of them, drop down, boom, they turn up and eat. And some days, as soon as that drill starts scratching the ice, man, they're gone.
Yeah.
So it's kind of neat like that.
If you can drill on top of them, I think you just make crazy hay.
Oh yeah, I've seen it so many times too. Like, and you wouldn't even think, oh, that just looks like a rock, or maybe there's some a log or a tree that's sunk down there, right? And when we do find some odd structure where, you know, a tree sank or you got a car or whatever, you know, we'll fish it because it usually holds bait and then which big fish are going to come in there.
Yeah.
One thing that I've liked to do, that I kind of started doing last year at the end of the year, is if I've got an entire grid drilled out and I see a big fish and it's about to go outside of my grid, I
Get ahead of it, turn it around.
I try to push it back into my grid.
Like
Get back in there.
Like he'll drill on the other side.
I'll go to where he's going and I'll try to punch a hole and try to get him.
If you got
to
enough
push back
guys,
in
you
my
could
grid.
probably like corral that fish in the right direction.
I was kind of thinking about that too. Like while I was out running around, I'm like, I should just drill a hole in front of that thing and get it over here.
It's either I drill a hole in front of it and it goes back into my grid, or I drill a hole in front of it and I drop lure and it hits that lure.
We're starting to see. Here's another one suspended, about 2 feet there.
Oh, I like that.
But there's this one's not moving like that other one.
No, that matters.
Yeah. There's USB right behind you.
Oh,
Good old Yeti.
well,
Yeah, that works too.
yeah, we're already plugged in.
I can't imagine.
I have a lot of batteries.
I was just gonna
to
say.
charge
Yeah.
I always burn like if I'm gone for a couple days, I'll burn a couple of these guys. You know,
So
just
how,
with random stuff.
so what kept you going this whole time since you've been out? Because I offered you to come charge stuff, and you're like, no. And so how have you been? You've been out here for this is day 3.
yeah, something like that.
Day 3,
yeah.
and you have like what's keeping all your electronics going?
Inverter in your truck?
I got like a few of these. So I'm running like GoPros
Yeah.
and live scope and but I've got like a few little portable batteries. My live scope unit has a 48 amp hour battery in it. So like honestly I could probably do like 2 days
Really?
just with that. And then I got one of those portable power stations too.
Yeah. How
So,
long does that take from like a power station to recharge the 48 hour?
I gotta figure this out because I think that the 48 amp hour is like as big as the power, or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I think it's similar, so I gotta figure that out. But
Because a lot of people like ice camping's become so huge. I feel in the last like 5-10 years. You know.
oh yeah,
It-
honestly, I can't like, and that's the thing too. I really like. I have all types of batteries,
Right.
but I think like if you are a diehard ice camper or you want to make the most of it, like get one of those power boxes.
Right.
Like I got that amped one, and that thing, I can run stuff on that for so long. Like it's got so much pump. Like I've done live streams on it, and it was like I had everything powered. Like my computer takes up so much battery, like so much. And like I had all of that and the cameras and whatever plugged into it, and I did a 7-hour live stream, and it was down like 30%, 25%. It was like, so anyway. It's nice to have power.
Yeah.
And if you're plugging TVs in and
Yeah.
stuff, or laptops, the thing with laptops is like you can't just like plug them into like little things. Like
Yeah, you need a big.
you
power
need like
source.
100 watts or whatever, you know. So and if you want to like go out with the kids and watch a movie on the laptop, and your laptop is dead in
Right.
2 hours because it's an old laptop or something, like oh look at that.
Yeah, they don't like us. What's the longest you've camped on the ice? I know. That's a little bit.
I
Got
like
some
that.
mass there.
I like that.
I know Brandon's done some good stints, but.
Done 11 and a half days is my longest.
11 and a half. Yeah, I'm
And-
nowhere near
And
that.
didn't you have a bath in the lake? Like.
No,
Did
I
you
took baby wipes.
Oh, I thought you.
I had multiple baths with
Oh,
baby wipes.
yeah.
But you know what? I have
trying to get
done
that out of my
lake
head.
baths.
Yeah.
I have done polar plunges, some pretty crazy ones where.
Have you?
Oh, lots.
I'm afraid of that.
I always thought it'd be super cool to, and I've seen it done before, but to get a hot tub out here, and then like have
That'd be
a
sick.
big tent over it,
Yeah.
and you know, just a couple holes outside. Then I thought about it, if you get like one of those blow up hot tubs, someone's gonna have a hook in it. Next thing, yeah.
That's so true. That would be pretty nuts, though.
Pretty wild. Yeah, I've got a few where I usually do it almost every year, early ice. I go to a trout pond or somewhere and I cut a big hole out in the ice and I go for a dip. And then recently in the past few years I've started going, and it sounds a little wild, but I'll go and I'll hold myself under the ice. And I'll come out and pull myself out. Just so I know, because I do a lot of thin ice fishing early
Yeah.
and late year. Just so I know how that does feel, and then I'm going to be safe and okay, and I'm not going
Always
to
check
survive
the
and live.
ice. Always check
Yeah.
the ice.
But you never know. The worst happens, right? Like
Yeah.
things happen. Like
Oh, yeah.
last year, I was out on Lorry Lake there, right? Later years, I should have called it earlier, but there was more ice and safer ice on Lorry than there was on Kissing. But because so many people make sight fishing holes there, and they thaw a lot quicker and faster, and the wood now that's on top starts thawing.
Sure.
Oh, they're supposed to be marked though. Like
yeah,
when
but
you
now
do
it's nice late season, and that
everything melted,
marking, melting, and now it's laying in the ice, and the sun's
yeah.
hitting it, and now it's melting through the ice. So I was walking
The
across.
sticks
with,
help it melt more too.
Yeah. So I was walking, and there was 22 inches of ice with very little candling. Maybe the top 4 inches was candled. And I remember walking across, and the back end of my sleigh kind of dips into what I thought was a slush pocket. So I walk over to the back of my sleigh and go to move the sleigh over, and went right through the ice, past my head. I bring up to the top, and what?
Deep water?
Oh yeah, 22, 24 feet of water at least. And yeah, and when I'm coming up out of the hole, now the stuff in my sleigh is starting to fall on top of me. So I'm throwing that out, and I get out of the sleigh, and I think, okay, I can either repack my sleigh and strap everything down again, and try to hike this thing off through wet snow, and everything's a lot heavier.
Yeah.
Or I just pull everything away and sprint back to the vehicle, cussing, and get to the vehicle and get undressed, get dry, and now the adrenaline's run off, so now I've got to walk all the way back across about 1.5 miles and go load my sleigh up, and now everything's soaked. My sleigh's got water in it, I don't want to dump everything out and try to dry things off, so now my sleigh's gone from, I don't know, 200 pounds of weight to 400 pounds of weight. And now it's been wet snowing, and it's just a miserable time. But I did catch 2 trophy spikes.
Well, that's good.
That's worth it.
Spike or
I wouldn't say it was worth it.
Tom Banks, he says, tell Nick we're watching from 100 yards away. So
Oh, I
one of
like that.
He's one of the shocks.
In the house?
Yeah,
House?
yeah.
You should ask if he's caught.
Yeah, let's see what's...
Thomas Wilhelm said, Kris Gaune is awesome. He's a stellar guy and one of the nicest dudes you'll ever meet.
Awesome, thanks.
Kyle wants to know, what do you think of Upper Red for crappies? I'd love to try. Heard it's great. Would love to get the sleeper out there. Yeah, the crappies are... I mean, it's at this point, it's pretty well public, you know, and out there that the crappies have kind of come back. So a couple of my buddies, Brett and TJ, went out and targeted them on late ice last year, and I think they did catch. I think they got into an okay bite or a pretty decent bite, but I haven't gone and done it yet. Obviously, you catch some random ones as you're out there, but if you went out, geez. If you went out and targeted them, obviously, like, that's a whole nother deal. I think you could do that right now, and I'm not super up on it, you know, at the moment. I think folks are doing it right now, but if it was me, I'd love to go up there late ice and do it. So that's kind of my thought on the Red Lake thing. I probably will go out and do that in March just for the fun of it. Oh, look at that blob.
Yeah. Are they hard to find? Like, you really got to hunt them down, or?
I think you got to run around and find them.
Just keep drilling.
But I do think they kind of it's like devil's like perch, where you know you get like a Christmas tree of them.
See, a lot of our crappie lakes, like I only get to crappie fish first ice usually, and our crappie lakes, most of them, the one I fish is you just look for the deepest
They're just
spot.
loaded in the basin.
Yeah, look for the deepest spot, and a couple lakes that like are easy to figure out, right? And or some rock pile or structure and stuff.
Yeah.
But
it's like such a classic Canadian thing too. I feel like you just go to a deep basin and a
They're there.
crappie-ish area, and they're just and they do that in they do that. That's a thing in Minnesota too. But like,
well, you guys do a lot of. You'll make structure too, no? Like in some.
Not in Minnesota. That's not legal in Minnesota.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But like in Wisconsin, there's like that's really.
I've seen
big
videos
in
of guys
Wisconsin.
like taking cinder
Fishing
block
cribs
or they'll get a 5-gallon pail, make concrete, and put a bunch of like sticks and.
A lot of dudes will throw their Christmas tree on the ice after Christmas, and when it melts, it melts. You know, like it'll melt in spring, and the tree will be there. Like
Right.
But yeah, like so we fish the basin a lot.
Do you get a lot of big crappies there? Like as in big as in like 15, 16
No.
inch? No.
That's a super rare. That's pretty
Really?
rare.
What I was hearing from a lot of guys that are big crappie fishermen in the south, like I show them my 16-inch pie plate, and they all have 17, 17 and a halves, like just giants.
Yeah.
Like, so now I've just come to believe that, well, our crappies are nothing compared to the crappies down south.
Yeah.
Everybody's got their, their own little fish stories about how big they're.
A lot of the crappies I'll get are like 12 to 14. You do get odd 15.
Those would be nice. Those
Yeah.
would be like really nice ones.
Great eating.
You definitely, there's obviously like there's 15s and 16s they exist, but like any dude that there's not.
So that's like a 31 inch.
That would be like a 31. Yeah,
yeah.
it'd be.
A 16.
Or
would be
depends
like
on
a 31.
which 31-inch walleye you're talking about.
Yeah.
Like a 16-inch crappie is like a 30-inch walleye back home.
Right.
Okay, yeah.
You know, which is probably like a 32-inch walleye here.
Yeah.
You know what
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
or like a
definitely.
31
Yeah.
or. But like there's a lot of people. It might even be rarer than that. Like I don't know many people who've caught a 16-inch crappie, and I definitely know a lot of people who've caught 30-inch walleyes.
I wonder, do they eat them or let them go when they get them that big?
Or they die from barrel trauma. Just kidding.
Oh,
Don't go down that
reverse,
hole.
delete, rewind. I don't want to get in that. No, we'll stay out of that.
Aaron, if you're
Whoops.
watching, drop a comment.
Whoops.
Where I fish them, I don't fish them. I think it's like 15 feet's the deepest.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
How deep is it where you're fishing? We're at about 12 right now.
Yeah. And we're probably, 2 miles out from shore, I'd say.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how slow this bowl is. Like another 2 miles out, you'll be in 16 maybe?
Yeah.
Like 17?
Yeah, and you look at the map too. Like I'm like, we're getting a couple miles out, and you look at the map, and we're like, if you zoom it out far enough, it looks like we're on the shoreline.
Yeah. yeah.
It's hilarious.
It's massive. And like, man, sometimes like I haven't gone out there yet. Have you gone out deep yet? Like, I'll go out.
I didn't go right
Like,
to the
you've been out to
scrapes.
20 or anything yet?
No, I haven't done the scrapes, but I went close.
I always find though, like when you do go out, like February, you go out to that 2022, you'll get a lot of suspended fish.
Yeah. And there's giants out there.
Yeah. But if someone's coming up here and never fishing for, try any depth, because if you're gonna scope them or chase them, just try any depth, because they'll be 2 feet to, like I said, 22, 23 feet.
They're starting to get some bait hanging up around.
That's the lights.
Oh, like
that?
when we woke up this morning,
that a
holy
fish?
smokes, the bait fish.
Yeah. Or is it a?
I can't tell because I don't know what direction
Oh, it
you're
is a
pointing.
fish. Yep. No. Yeah, it is nothing big.
Oh, here we
Oh.
go. Look at your buddy is hanging up here high in the water column.
I'm
You
just
should
gonna
come
do
over here.
this. Let's see. I'm not moving it.
If this thing is pointed in the right direction, no
So,
one move.
should we even play with take the Garmin off of it for a bit,
Yep.
and then just kind of do? Are you still coming?
I did that.
Are you
earlier.
still coming?
Yeah, you can. Yeah, point it away. We'll check on him here in
and
about
see
20
what happens.
seconds.
My bait's at his height, maybe a little higher.
I think I'm about right where he's at.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I know. And it's like to have the patience.
let's try that.
Yeah. He's still there. Oh, look, he's closer.
Get it off him. Get it off him.
Yeah. Look at the bait there too, right?
There's
Where
some.
are you pointing right now? Is it off behind you?
Right behind the shack.
Okay, yeah.
Pointed.
Get
it's
that beam out of here.
Pointed east.
Turned
He
away.
turned around without the scope being at him.
Are you sure?
Positive.
Maybe he felt the scope.
Turned
Off the
away.
side.
Back to barrow trauma.
Oh, jeez.
That's so weird. See, I didn't think fish. I thought every fish would just swim right to your lure and eat it if you didn't have scope on them.
I know.
It's weird that they would turn around without pointing the scope at it.
Big minnows at mine, just had to chase it.
So Easton asked what lure we're using. So I've got a big rattle bait on. Rippin' shad. What do you got?
A bladed jig.
You got a bladed jig.
I've got the Element Customs Baits Wing Ding.
Wing ding. That's like a spoon basically.
Yeah, little flashy spoon.
Flash your spoon.
Chartreuse. I think you're silver and blue, and he's pink and white.
To the gentleman to your right.
Which way we look?
Right.
What's a good place to go for socializing in Sioux Lookout?
Like a bar? Like what do you be socializing?
Sioux
Oh, the
Lookout.
forest.
There's not much there.
The forest.
Yeah.
Forest is great.
Yeah.
Great food.
Yeah.
Great people. I enjoyed being at the forest. I don't know. Could always go down to Anderson's Lodge. Foxy's there.
Yeah.
It's got some pretty good food there. What else would be a good way?
And there's two. Here, I'll try to slow down my turn. This
Oh, yeah,
pole
no,
setup isn't my favorite.
Yeah, I noticed. I was like, that doesn't look
I
as
do
smooth
not-
as your other poles.
This is not the one I normally use. I'm not naming names, but I do not like it.
I saw what pole it was.
Actually, when they first came out, before the other ones I used came out, the Arc Lab pole, I used these and I broke a lot and like
Yeah.
yeah. But I know they've.
Wait, was there a name to who asked that question? That's a better question.
Probably if it was specific.
Someone that knows you? Or?
Yeah, might have been. Maybe they know me some. I know some stories that you guys don't know from Sioux Lookout.
Oh.
Maybe we'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, they're pretty funny stories. They're good ones, but nothing bad. Just out of curiosity, I wonder who that is.
You can go back and watch.
Might have to. It's a timestamp on where we are right now.
Oh, buddy, stacked, two bigs. Bottom one's bigger than the top one.
See, I've actually got my bait halfway down now because I'm just like, I'm gonna hang it up here.
Yeah.
And if something sees it in the line of sight or something up there,
This one's going down. Oh, just come in. He's going right to bottom.
someone said, ask Gaune, do all the guides on Lake Winnipeg hate each other, or do guys talk at all and help each other out?
I actually get along with all the guides. There is a couple like.
Is it just because you're you and you're just such a good dude?
It could be. You'd have to get under my skin, like to.
Yeah.
But I talked to Bruin, Cornell, Hobson when he was around, and like Canuck and stuff, like in Kingsland. All the guides, I talked to them. I'm more friends with some. I'm acquaintance with other. We doing the same thing. We're out here together. A lot of times too. We're the only ones out here, so you need someone to scratch your back.
Yeah.
You don't want to have enemies with everyone. I know there is a lot of conflict between
Yeah.
certain guides and stuff.
Yeah.
But I tend to just stay out. All I do, my goal in life is, when I'm out here, is to just put people on fish and to give them a good
Exactly.
time and try to give them the best experience they can have
Yeah.
when
And
they're
so-
out here. And I don't like the drama. High school was 20
I
something
think
plus years ago.
some people thrive on the drama.
Oh yeah,
And I think that's where a lot of it
Yeah.
comes from, right?
and
Like,
that's true. And a lot of people are, yeah, it's whatever. But I stay out of it. I kind of watch it and just shake my head. And I try to get along with everyone. I have some thick skin, but you can get under it. But I'll usually just walk away, or
So with that being said,
Oh.
seeing as I am a run and gun guy and I don't have any
Uh-oh.
other guides to turn to that are also run and gunning that same day that I am, I've got some really good
It's coming
friends
up to
like Troy Barkman and Alex Ryderberg, who I guided with out at Anderson Lodge. They work for Bruin Outfitting now. Both used to work for Icebound, and yeah, if I'm doing bad, I'll shoot one of them a message and say, hey, how are you guys doing? Guys on fish? I'm doing kind of terrible. And they'll either tell me, yeah, we're doing terrible, it's not good out right now, and kind of confirm that, the bite's just turned off, or they'll shoot me a helping hand and say, yeah, fish are over here, da-da-da-da, feel free to move in.
Yeah, that's another
And
thing too.
I'll do the same thing for them.
yeah.
Right
Like-
back at them.
Yeah, the more people the more people you talk to.
Where did that fish go?
He went kind of down towards Brandon, but he was too busy chatting. There it goes.
Busy. I'm
No,
terrible
it's
multitasker.
good to have a
Yeah.
relationship with everyone.
I think that's a thing though, like, and maybe if you're from up here, you know about like some guide tiffs or whatever,
Yeah.
but like the guides on Mille Lacs or the guides on Leech or the guides on Green Bay or like the guides on Lake of the Woods, I think all these dudes there's like drama everywhere.
Oh,
honestly.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
So it's not that bad. And like with me and a couple like Canuck and Bruin and Blackwater, over the years, I've sent them all clients that I couldn't, I was booked or, I couldn't do it or whatever. And so I've sent them business. They've same the other way they've sent me, so
yeah.
you just want to keep a good relationship. But there is drama between some, and I don't know. I think now with everyone has a camera or, social media and stuff, it's, so you can't hide it anymore, right? Like, it's just out there, but.
And if you want to get a lot of attention on social media, make a subtle call out of like a different guide on the lake or something, right? Like, I've seen you see that around home. Like different people will be like, seeing a lot more white lunds on the or whatever. Like
and even with me and like other people too is the thing that there's giving space too, right? Like it'd be different. Like this is a big water. I know some of your lakes back home are smaller, so it's like if you got your setup here doing your running gun or you got your houses here, you kind of want to stay away. If someone were to come, and start punching holes 50, 100 yards from your shack and then bring in 20 guys, it's like, oh my God, okay, like now you're cutting off all the fish that are coming to my guys. And, then it would be like, but usually everyone's pretty respectful and gives you distance.
And now here's one thing that I've said for years. If somebody pulls up right next to me, starts drilling holes, like, and I'm talking close, and doesn't say a word to me and just drills holes and starts fishing, I'm not too fond of it. But if somebody comes up and talks to me, or even just talks to me and says, "Hey man, do you know where to fish? I will drill. You can fish my holes. Come fish in my tent with me, man. I'll tell you what I know." It's just that breaking that barrier of respect and common courtesy, where it's like, man, I'll be the most helpful person you could ever possibly imagine, or as helpful as I can be.
Yeah.
That's the weird thing too. Like I feel like fishing is weird too, where like guys will like. It seems like anglers aren't like super friendly all the time.
Yeah.
And like they'll like you know what I mean? Like like when there's two boats and you're kinda on the same spot, like they don't look at each other, instead of being like, hey, how's it going? Everybody's just like heads down.
Tournaments, I do a lot of tournaments. I did 15 tournaments last year. Yeah. And there's I do lots in Manitoba, I do a lot in Ontario, and I do some in Saskatchewan. And the ones and I love boys from Saskatchewan, but and it's also guys that come from Alberta to Saskatchewan. They're so serious. Like they will, if you're working a line, they'll push you out, they'll cut you off, and and you'll see guys will get mad. And so I just kind of like whatever. I'm not gonna get involved, but it's crazy how close. There's no boat distance rule. Like you could damn near be bumped. I've seen guys kick boats off and stuff. Like they're just too close. But it's you're competitive. It's like hockey, you body check, right? Like
Dude, I fished as a co-angler at one of the Bassmaster Opens like a long time ago. Like I was in college or something, and I was fishing like with my dad. He was fishing on the pro side, and I just came along as a co. And I just randomly pick. So you random draw a pro, and of the 160 boat field, I randomly drew Kris Johnston, who is from Canada, super good. He's
a stick.
He's one of the best pros now. Like. On like the Bassmaster Elite Series, and there's this other dude who's also, like a full-time pro who's also on the Elite Series. He was fishing that Open too, and him and Kris both. I was in Chris's boat. We both pulled up to this spot at the same time, and like this other dude is like sticking his nose out and trying to get right in front of Kris. And Kris had to kick the front of his nose away. Like it was,
he would have hit him.
He was head down. Like the other guy was just head down, casting, and just putting the nose. Like he would have just hit him. Like he was trying to play the I'm not gonna look at you while I cut you off thing.
Bumper boat. I didn't see you there. Sorry.
And Kris freaked out at him.
Oh wow.
Which it was But it was, he kicked him, like, what the heck are you doing? Like,
Yeah, competitive, man. Something
Yeah.
to.
that's just like, I just don't think that's cool in general, you know?
It's
Like,
kind of like that. Well, it's a totally different thing, but like cheating in the walleye terms. I don't know where the gratification is. Like,
how do you feel good about yourself?
exactly.
Yeah.
Like, obviously money. Like some of your tournaments. Our biggest tournament I fish here, I think, is worth
Vanity
100.
count?
The Vanity
Yeah.
is like 100K, and they lie detect and they do all that, and they got
I've
boats.
been thinking about coming up and fishing that one, by the way.
Oh,
Would
really?
that be cool?
Oh man, give her, man. It's
Yeah?
it's an awesome tournament.
It would just be cool to go to Tobin
Oh,
in
yeah.
early fall, too.
It's just weather. That can be the thing. The weather can be
Just be
miserable.
nuts, yeah.
But usually the more miserable is, the better the bite is.
Yeah?
But like this year, day one, man, we were fishing in a storm. Next day, I think we were fishing our t-shirts. Like it was snowing. Like there was snow.
Yeah.
Boat was covered in snow. It was just crazy.
Yeah.
But that is one fun tournament, and I almost
It's 2 overs there, right? Or two
yeah,
big ones?
2 overs. Yep, it's unreal.
And yeah.
And there's big fish in that system. There's some really big fish.
But I looked at some of the weights, and I'm like, I feel like that's attainable. Like,
The mountain, man.
yeah.
Lost Mountain.
That's the deal.
Oh,
Yeah.
so like we by 9 o'clock, I think we had a 9-pounder and 10-pounder each day in the well pre-fish. It's just there's so many big fish there. It's an unreal fishery, especially that time of year.
But yeah, you're saying for money, you're saying a lot. There's not always that much money at stake, but dudes are still cheating.
I know, and I just would never want to. Where's the gratification of winning a tournament from cheating?
Yeah, I don't get it either.
You'd
feel I would just feel terrible.
Yeah, bragging rights, all that
Yeah,
stuff.
like
you don't
look how big of a guy I am.
Yeah,
Look
yeah.
at I won this tournament.
Yeah.
And you're just like, if you get caught, like
Oh,
you're
no.
the biggest dirtbag
Yeah.
Reputation's
of all
gone.
time. Yeah.
Reputation's gone.
And I love tournament fishing. I've always been competitive when I played hockey, all that stuff. I was super, super competitive. And now when it comes to these fishing tournaments, man, I go, and try to do the best I can. You don't win them all, but have fun trying. And,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you win some of them.
Oh, yeah. Some.
One of you.
Yeah. Oh, a funny story. So I did a tournament. He was guiding, like he said, up in Lac-Seul this year. This is funny. And so I'd never fished this tournament before. I was like, so you know the water a bit? And he's like, oh, yeah. And so I call him, like, do you want to fish this tournament? He's like, let me see if I can get the days off from guiding. So he does. And I'm like, okay, we'll start pre-fishing, because I didn't have any days to come up and pre-fish. I had one day, the Friday. Saturday, Sunday tournament. So I was like, okay, I'll come up Thursday, we'll fish Friday. I was supposed to come up and fish 2 days. I couldn't do this. I had a boat issue, so I said, okay, I'm coming up Thursday. He had pre-fished and stuff. And I told him, oh yeah, like, I didn't know there's a boundary, right? So he's pre-fishing wherever close to his lodge. He found the juice, man. Like, so I show up there, and it was about an hour and a half run each way to where he was pre-fishing.
Like 68 mile an hour.
Oh yeah, and I'm like, we start fishing, and I showed him some techniques. He showed me some stuff, like the way I fish and stuff, and we're smashing fish. I'm like, buddy, we
big
got this
fish.
sewed up. Like,
Right.
I'll drive an hour and a half to catch fish like this anytime, right? And like everything we did, every point we went, every break we hit, it was just loaded.
Money.
Yeah, I was like, and big fish, the fat slots, like, we got this.
Yeah.
So we go to the rules meeting that night. Look at the boundaries.
You're out of the
Out of the
boundaries.
boundaries.
times
way out of bounds.
4 times the distance.
Yeah, so,
Just-
and I'm like, oh man, it was brutal.
You're like, oh, shit.
So like now we're going in straight blind, and normally you'd just be like, okay, let's go where the boats are, right? Or
Sure.
whatever. And I was like, no, you know what? We looked at the map, and we're like,
You were
I'm like,
driving out.
yeah, I'm like, hey, let's just find walleye stuff. Like, let's just go back to and figure out like where would these fish be and stuff. And we did okay. I think day one we were in second, which was like I was blown away. And then we dropped a lot. I think we ended up 8th or something.
Yeah.
But it was like going into a tournament. I've never gone into a tournament blind,
Just
like,
completely
straight
blind, yeah.
blind, like not even
just
having
that.
a spot in the back pocket.
Not
like,
just
nothing.
that, going into that tournament straight blind, and neither of us have ever done a catch and kill tournament.
Yeah, that was weird too.
That
That was
was
catch
different.
and kill.
Yeah, so you're
specifically.
committed,
It's
and you get
complete
tags. They
gamble.
come in your boat. They check your boat.
Complete gamble.
Oh yeah. So like you catch, you catch.
Wait, what do
a
you
to-
mean a complete gamble?
So now imagine this: you're fishing during the day. Okay, you've got 1 over, 2 unders, but then you got an upgrade tag. So you got 2 days. So you're allowed technically 3 big fish. So let's just say you're fishing the first day and you keep a
Well, you're
24.
saying no culling.
Yeah, there's
Yes.
no. You're
Exactly.
committed to every once you bonk that fish.
Is that what you mean by catch and kill?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to.
Oh, you have to kill it.
You have
Oh,
to
yeah.
kill it.
it.
So if
Yeah.
you catch a 30,
You got to keep them on
bonk it.
ice. The fish don't go to waste. You
Yeah.
gotta keep them on ice. And like the tournament people actually tried to make it a catch and release, but the M&R wouldn't have it. It's still a catch and kill tournament, but it was like, okay, you catch this. What was it? 18 or 17 3/4 is the slot limit.
18.
18. So you catch like a 17. You're like, oh.
Yeah.
Nice fat one, you weigh it. It's like, oh, it's 2 pounds. Do you keep it? Do you kill it? What do you, And then it's like, okay, let it go, and then you go on with your day, and you catch, a 16. It's like, oh man, now it's getting like 4 hours left. It's like, okay, now you got to bonk a 16. Should have kept your 17, and then you'll go on, and then an hour left, you pop 3 17s or 17 3/4, and it's like, so you really got to pick and choose and be confident in your next move.
I
And
hate
where-
that.
It was a very it was a big learning experience. I'll fish it again, but it was different.
Yeah.
And then like bonking big fish felt weird.
That's a tough one.
Like
yeah.
that it's not. I think was there 60 boats in that tournament? 70?
No, it's closer to 90.
Really?
Well,
it is weird. Like
it's weird, but also like catch and release tournaments don't really work. Like a lot of them die.
Yeah.
Like some of them,
know what?
it depends on the time of year.
You know
Depends
what?
on the year, how
Photo release. Catch photo release.
Catch photo
Well,
release.
a lot of
yeah.
tournaments are going to that. You
Yeah.
know?
And that's
Yeah.
where I think it's starting to really shine.
But so I fished a tournament that used to be you'd weigh fish.
Okay, thank you.
And you wouldn't. It wasn't a catch photo. And then I used to be like go to spots where I would no thank you. I would go to spots where I would catch fat fish. At current spots where these fish are always like a 25 would be 6-7 pounds.
Wanna know what I want some of?
Yeah, the laptop's
that
on the
up.
stove.
Oh, we can move that.
Yeah, and we
Maybe.
gotta find a pot. I don't know if we can't. Whatever.
I am getting pretty darn tired though.
Yeah.
I gotta drive home at some point.
Yeah. Well, see ya.
And you don't want to leave my phone?
Yeah, no, you can't.
No, we can cut this whenever. Too.
Yeah.
Whenever you guys ready?
I fixed the battery problem, so
Oh.
actually we can go as long as you want to,
Yeah.
and that's
Well,
fine.
I don't want to cut us anyone a
You're
sword.
not gonna be not gonna be a villain if you
Yeah,
cut us
yeah.
off here.
Okay.
So
I forgot where I was going with, but there's another one in the distance. Swimming the wrong way.
we're gonna catch a master as soon as we turn this thing off.
Well, yeah, you can show a picture.
Yeah.
They're down there. Definitely not cruising fast or chasing. That one fish was the most active one that was chasing those minnows around.
Yeah. Mhm.
I don't know when we get we're gonna get some weather change here tomorrow. No, Wednesday.
Gonna get warmer.
Yeah, I don't. Sometimes I think it'll make them a lot more aggressive and turn them on just from seeing what they do in the past and stuff.
I just wish I had clients that day because I've been waiting for a really nice day to actually
Oh,
do
you'll
my
get
work.
it. You'll get it.
Well, it'd be nice to do it instead of all this terrible weather I've been guiding him for the last 2 weeks.
That makes you a man. You fill generators in your gitch. So.
This is true. I don't know. I can't guide that way.
Yeah.
Not how
I
I'd like
know.
to, because then you're killing fish, you're freezing holes, you're freezing lines.
Yeah.
I just don't. I don't get as much satisfaction
Well,
from putting guys in tents and
yeah.
moving tents around here and
We were
there.
just sitting there and waiting.
Yeah, that to me isn't the way.
But
I
like
to
he
guide.
did it. So what he was doing is he would set them up in a tent, leave them there, like look for a fish, find fish, set up the tent. They'd fish. He'd go off, look for another, and set up another tent.
Yeah.
Then go get them, bring them, go back. So it's a lot of work.
That's a lot of work.
But you're trying to keep them on fish, but you're still always trying to keep them warm, keep them on fish. So
Do you do that with hubs or flipovers?
both.
Both.
Yeah.
And what's fun too is that you kind of missed the last part. So when I'll leapfrog them to tents, so I'll say, okay, I'm going to pull you from that tent, bring you to this tent, then I'm going to go back and get that tent, pick that tent up, find another spot, set that tent up, then bring them over, and then go back and pick that tent up.
So you're setting the tent up before you even get them, and
Yeah.
Throw
a heater on.
so I'm setting the tent up
the
before I
tent
get
is
them.
ready before they even.
And then just getting them to leave that tent to bring them over to this tent, and then going back for that other tent.
Mm-hmm.
It's just wild.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
And try not to end up flying away with the tent when it's like this.
I've gotten
For
really
real.
good at that.
Yeah.
Really good at it's not fun, but I've gotten good.
Yeah.
And speaking about that, I hope did Clam fix their design on the new ones where they have the pegs on the outside instead of the inside now? Jeez.
Oh, with the straps.
Oh man.
I don't know. Honestly, it'd be such an easy fix yourself. Just get a deer, an O-ring,
Yeah.
metal
You can just
O-ring.
add those.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
crimp it in, and you're.
I
good
think
to go.
they are fixed now. The newer designs.
I was
Well, I'm
thinking
going
about.
to pick up actually 4 tomorrow from Walleyes. So,
Sweet.
Uh-oh.
But where is that? Is that
it's
over here?
out this way, under side by side.
I was thinking about doing that with my flip over. Putting
Yeah.
little
Yeah.
rings in there.
Yeah, put
Yeah.
some rings.
In
Yeah,
the skirting.
that'd be a good deal.
They're here, man.
Well,
You're in a good spot. We're just not getting them.
morning. Yeah. Oh, and he did message back. He said they hadn't. What did he say? They're seeing them. Haven't caught any in a bit though.
Yeah. Well, we got.
Same. Same.
Yeah.
We should have more than. I think that one active one we should have caught.
It's just weird.
We had that other one, knows my bait.
Yeah.
Should have ended up getting him, but
Making us work for them.
you know.
See, and some people think too, like the generator sound scares fish, and I've seen guys with like 200-foot extension cords running.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think vibration can bring fish.
Yep.
And like even in the boat too,
more.
sometimes you're not catching, throw song on where you get a little bass or something in the boat, and then all of a sudden boom, 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 they're snapping, you know. And a lot of times, so when I'm going shack to shack, you know, checking on or doing generators or whatever, I always poke my head in, and a lot of times all of a sudden they get a bite or something, and I think those fish are sitting there, and then I'm making noise
Yeah.
and get some moving and stuff.
Yeah.
but-
Yeah.
I would say, for sure, a pattern
Mhm.
for lake trout
Yeah.
is like fire up the snowmobile and
Yeah.
rip a little circle, and you'll
Yeah,
get
yeah.
like. You'll get lake trout. Ooh, what's that? Like,
What's
what's
going on?
that commotion? I better come check
Yeah.
this out.
I love, oh man, like I said,
That was a
freshwater.
giant mark.
I know, freshwater sharks, those things are.
Yeah, they're so fun. They're so fun to catch.
Especially like when we chum them and stuff, and you'll be watching them. We'll use underwater cameras. You're watching them. They're circling. They're stuff. They're swimming around, and it's crazy if you dump some like blood down there.
Yeah.
How much faster they start going crazy and
Really?
attacking stuff. Oh yeah, it's wild.
Mm.
There's a place like where we fish. They sell. We call it puke. It's literally the butcher in town.
Yeah.
Grinds it all up and sells it in like little liter pails.
Yeah.
And it's
chum
the,
bales, chum
yeah, and
buckets.
it's in the nastiest, stinkiest stuff. Like you don't want to spill it in your shack ever.
You don't
or-
want to touch it.
Yeah, but once you start, like you thaw it out and dump it down the holes, man, these fish,
Yeah.
you'll watch their attitude change.
Huh.
That's why they remind me so much of sharks. And the way they attack and oh yeah,
They're just
That's
nuts.
yeah. I'm getting a lake trout itch. I'm gonna have
That's what's his
Uh-oh.
name. He grub boxes his son there.
to- Yeah.
Yeah. I'm blanking on their name.
I used to make it. I used to just grind. Like I go sucker bedding in the spring,
then
and I used to keep
grind
all
them
the
up and set 'em
yeah.
down.
Yeah, or I'd keep all their guts and their roe and stuff, and
Yeah.
I'd just grind all that up, and
Yeah.
it's nasty too, stinks. And, ugh.
Hey,
Wife's-
this guy's coming in here. He's actually kind of moving. Yeah, otherwise just that's a different one, I think, right?
Yeah, that one's this way. There's fish around, and they're just
There's a lot of fish around.
yeah.
There's actually this is a good spot. There's a lot of fish around.
But it has been very good. There's been like I don't even know how many big fish caught last.
Okay, I'm gonna let you guys keep talking. I gotta run to the big bite and get my
Get all your
charger
stuff
for
ready.
my live scope, my other clam, suit, and probably a few other things.
Yeah, no worries.
Well, whenever you gotta get out of here is fine. Just yeah.
Well, he can go get all his stuff. and
Yeah.
we'll see what it's like.
Exactly.
Do your
When you
thing
go
and-
out, I'm gonna go go outside, go to the bathroom, and then I'll seal the door hopefully again. Hopefully.
Keywords.
You just pulled it hard until it went right.
Well, it's like finessing it. It's tricky. And I bent the cord.
Well, when you guys leave, I'm gonna turn off live scope and start catching some fish.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, boom. Here we go. So check this out. my buddy had his two shacks side by side, one with live scope, one without. One shack caught 2 fish, one caught 22 fish. Which one do you think it was?
Well, if you went on my Facebook feed, they'd be saying the one with just the Vexlars down got them.
He had scope.
Yeah.
And it was because a lot of those
You
fish...
can target the fish, you can see where they're at.
You can read
Yeah.
how they're reacting to your bait.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Right.
you know, you can figure out what's going to get them. Like, that's what live scope, it teaches you so much about their
Yeah.
attitude and what you got to do to coerce them to eat. Like, it's
Yeah.
just... So, but yeah, the one shack, and like, they were right beside each other, you know, he could scan under their shack and see the fish with his live scope.
Yeah.
But one shack caught 22 fish and one caught 2. And I think a lot of it because you don't know where they are in the column, and you know.
I would say there's been more suspended at random depths
Yeah.
that we've seen than fish just on the bottom so far.
Well, I think when you're up here,
Tonight.
yeah, no, but last time, like when you came up here a couple years ago, you were getting a lot of suspended fish. Too.
Oh, yeah.
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 Oh, I thought that was a
Got a
phone.
hole cover.
Hole
Good thing
covers.
roll covers, yeah.
Okay, you're gonna go.
Yeah.
I'll be.
All right. There's a fish right there. What's that fish? Awkward butt angle. I'm just gonna leave this right here. So I can see my bait. But anyway, Birdwatcher said, Nick, you should come to Ottertail Lake. I fished Ottertail Lake one time with the great and powerful Jason Rylander. That was a fun one. Brendan said we saw lots of fish in the bottom on Saturday morning. Yeah, when I've been running around recently, like today and yesterday, I've been seeing a lot of them suspended, honestly. A lot of fish suspended. So how many have we caught so far? We've got one so far. So cold front, these fish are kind of moving slow, and we maybe had one or two other opportunities outside of that, but obviously, as you can see, like there's just kind of fish swimming around all over, but they're being really tricky. They're acting kind of like Minnesota fish.
And that's usually not the case.
Usually not the case. No, I remember last time I was up here when I was in your wheelhouse. It was nuts. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, we probably got like a dozen every evening, like if not more.
Well,
And they're all like 23, 26, 27.
It's just it's pressure front, you know. They don't like. Sometimes I feel like they don't like the cold as much as we do, right?
Yeah. This is a gnarly cold front. So it is.
And it came out like we've had some wild roller coasters. It's going like 20, 30 degree swings, man. And that's also why we've had such crazy ice issues too.
Yeah.
To start the season, it'd be super warm. You know, ice expands and it gets super cold. She tightens up, pops a crack, she gets warm. It's just been nuts. I actually thought the last warm front we were gonna pop some big pressure ridges, pardon me, but we didn't. So.
Yeah. Yeah, Thomas was saying, curious about the night bite on Winnipeg.
It has been deadly, honestly. It has been very deadly. Probably like, so from what I've seen, I've been out here since the 28th every single day. I've got, 4 or 5 wheelhouses going every day. He's running, gunning every day. And it's been like from sunrise till about 10, 11's been good. Lots of fish, bites, blah, blah, blah. And then from like 11 till 3, it's been a bit of a grind. Like you'll see fish or, you'll see fish come through, but that's when play crib or throw on flicks or whatever, right? Like, but and then it picks up again. And the night bite has been good. Like I think I told you, one shack one night I caught like in an hour period 20 plus fish. Like,
Really?
Yeah, they just coming through, just eating and moving and grooving. And,
Yeah.
but that's what they call it, fishing.
That's just the name of the game.
I'd love to smack a big one when Brandon's gone and just tell him it was skill.
That would be really funny. I'm definitely going to. I'm gonna get one on that. If one comes up and I feel confident he's on the outside over there.
Yeah. Sneaks right by him. That one did.
I was just cooking up a little bit of a like a little rip. Like I was gonna poke him, but he's not even here, so he can't.
Oh, yeah.
I can't give him a hard time if he's not here to.
Right. Now, I wonder when he comes back, or even right now, because him driving on the ice, that'll stir something up for us. Whoa. Sounds like he's circling us.
Ugh. So, okay. So when did you get out here to start the
The 28th.
Season?
The 28th.
of December?
Yeah.
So that's like the one thing I'm curious about, because you guys have. It seems like some dudes get out like really early, because you definitely can,
Oh yeah. Well, like.
but it's pretty sketchy. Like
that's
really
when I got
early,
the
right?
houses out.
That's when you got
Yeah.
houses.
I think my first day on the water was late November.
Because we're getting houses out on like Mille Lacs, like around then too, right?
Right.
But it's like way less treacherous on Mille Lacs than up here.
This year was the latest, like
Till later,
late.
the latest.
Yeah, it was
Okay.
real late. It was a late freeze up. Like I've been out on the river because it usually freezes first. I think the earliest I've been out is like Remembrance Day, November 8th actually.
Okay.
I've walked out, 3 inches, 4 inches, chiseling my way, and
Yeah.
that's the earliest like I've ever been on ice. This year, I want to say it was the end of November when I finally came out.
Okay.
But yeah, it's been a different.
It seems like there is ice like super early, but then there's always dudes talking about like how there was ice and
The
some
wind.
dudes were walking out there and
Yeah.
then like it all blew out and got pushed into the West Shore or whatever, and then we started over and got it. And
Yeah, I always like the east side because it usually gets better ice. It lasts longer,
okay.
and I find there's a little bit less traffic.
I just feel like it's so much colder up here, but I feel like we're fishing on like Red Lake before you guys are fishing on Winnipeg. You know what I mean? A lot of times.
That could be. When did you when were?
I don't remember this year.
Yeah. I know last year I was out on here, like just with like a side by side or a skew was probably like mid-November. I walked out.
That might have been around the time we were on Red. I can't
Yeah.
remember, but last year was a weird year though too.
I feel like honestly, the last couple of years the seasons have been weird. They're running longer into
Yeah.
summer's going longer, fall's going longer. Everything's kind of stretching
Yeah.
out like an extra 2
Yeah.
weeks.
Do you guys walk out here though? Because that's kind of like we're on Red. We'll like walk.
Oh
out.
yeah, yeah. I walked out
Yeah.
with the harness and pulling the flip over and.
Sure. It's just so big, you know.
Yeah,
It's
and
like
it kills me because like I'll walk like 2 kilometers out just to get like some decent deep water, and then it's like you go drill your hole, and it's like 8 inches. It's like, oh man, I could have been on a swing and stuff,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
The walk's like an hour each way, and but always first ice is the best. Like not the best, but you can really. Fish haven't been caught, no pressure, there's no one
Yeah.
out here. It's like, it can be serious slam fest. I've never really caught, unless they go on the river. The river I've caught big ones early ice, but I've never really landed too many big fish like on the lake early ice.
Yeah.
There's 2 big suspenders right there.
Double A said, sounds like he's stuck out there.
They can hear that?
I
You
guess
must
they
have
could.
a good mic.
Must be.
I think what it is you got to drive. We got from the houses in the wind today. There's big drifts all around, so you got to pick your lines and drive all the way around.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Andrew said Devil's Creek was on fire today. If you're running and gunning, might be worth checking out tomorrow.
Really?
And he said you are with the absolute best guide on the lake.
Well, thank you. And the East Channel too is like early in the morning was really good. Was he there today this morning? But I don't actually have an allocation for the river, so I can't guide on the river. I can fish it, but I just don't have an allocation to guide on it. I only have one on the lake. I applied for when I applied because you got to apply.
You got to get like a license for a certain body of water or something.
So I applied for here and Clearwater Lake for the Lakers, and then the river. And the river, they said for the size of the body of the water, there's
too many guys,
and same with Clearwater Lake.
Yeah, you know they say Minnesota, land of 10,000 rules, laws.
Yeah.
Canada is like the. How many lakes do you guys got in Canada?
Oh, I can't even tell you.
Land of 100,000 laws.
Yeah, there's more water than there is land.
I mean, I think that's. Yeah, maybe that's a good rule. I don't know, but I feel like. Yeah, things are a little less tight down in the U.S. for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff, and like so.
I'm always afraid I'm like breaking some random law because like I'm driving down the road and it's like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I actually I started guiding in Ontario, and I came up here and started guiding here and like on the ice, and I didn't even know at first, and then I got the call from the M&R and they're like, I posted a bunch of pictures on Facebook years ago saying, you know, I had my clients out, and then they called me and they're like, well, someone had phoned me in, first of all.
Yeah.
Whatever. And then...
probably one of the other guides.
Oh, it was, for sure. And, but yeah, then it was like the end of the season, too. It was like, whatever. And then, they called me, like, you can't guide anymore, you got to get yours. So then I just applied for it, and that was the rest of history. But,
yeah.
There's some silly laws.
Well, it's kind of interesting too, because like something that would be not super common, but fairly common would be like, man, I really want to fish with you. You're a great guide. Like, I would pay you extra if you'd come up and guide on Lake of the Prairies for a weekend or something. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, or like, but in where I live, it'd be like. Anyway. You know, could you come up to Lake Winnie and guide up there? I know you're on Mille Lacs, but like, I'd love to hire you out.
Really? And you don't need nothing anywhere?
Oh, I'm not a guide, so maybe there's more to it then. But no, I mean, I think you can just do it.
So I've one thing I actually going to ask you is, a lot of times people are like, where do I put my fish guts? I'm like, on the ice? They're like, oh, we can't do that back home.
What'd you say with your what?
Your fish guts.
Oh,
like
your
remains from filleting.
Yeah. Yep. And
I was
actually,
like,
you got to keep them because, like,
that's what. Yeah.
So you know what you're.
Why do you got to keep this nasty stuff for?
Yeah. Like, I don't even. Honestly, it's a little confusing. I don't even know exactly what the laws are.
Well, Is it because so they know how many fish you?
So they know you're not over the limit or whatever.
Right.
I think you can. Don't quote me on this, but I think you can like harvest. Or fillet the fish up, eat them, but then I think you need to take like the guts and the whatever back to shore.
Oh, okay.
But like you can't like catch your limit on Saturday, eat it,
and catch another one,
and then catch your limit on Sunday, and then eat it, and without bringing it back to shore.
Oh, okay.
For whatever reason.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure here it's just possession. So. You can catch, like, if you wanted walleye, you catch 4, eat them, like, catch another 4, eat.
As long as they're not...
Yeah, as long as you do not possess over 4 fish.
4 fish worth of meat.
Yeah, in that slot. Yeah. Interesting. Different laws, different things. Oh, man, this is just, come on, one nice fish here. Let's go.
Someone asked... When is Manitoba outlawing live bait?
We'll fish them this year and next winter, and then they're done. after that season ends. May
2027.
Yeah, done. Which it, and I don't know.
Was that like March 2027, or
be-
like it'd be the fall fall?
That April, whenever the season ends of the winter
Okay.
season, after that it's done. We'll come out in the spring, and you will not be able to use live bait.
Okay.
So spring of 2027.
Okay.
I'm don't quote me, but I'm like 80% sure that's how it's gonna roll.
Okay.
Yeah, we've had some big changes here in the last few years, with the size limit and slot limit and no big ones.
They tightened it up.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, you can't keep anything over that 55 centimeters.
Okay. How many inches is that roughly?
21 and like between 21 and a half, 21 3/4.
Oh.
Yeah, it's right in the middle. So, yeah, before you were allowed your unders, and then you're allowed one over. So you're allowed one over 55.
Sure.
And then you were allowed one master a year, but had to sign your license. Like when you used to buy.
Oh.
Yeah, you had to sign.
Yeah.
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 But no more.
Yeah, it's super interesting.
But
So-
it's to help
No, yeah, it is. Yeah, no,
preserve it.
it doesn't make that much of a difference to me.
Yeah. Like I said, the replicas have gotten so good, they last so much longer.
Yeah,
They're amazing.
I do think too. Like if you're gonna get a replica, like I feel like if you're gonna get a greenback replica, I was thinking about that too because Brett's like, you should get a replica, that 11.5 pounder you got.
Oh, you should. No.
And I was like, I should. But we were talking about it, and he's like, we both agreed, like, you should definitely get it done by, like, someone who's done greenbacks.
Oh,
before.
yeah. Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, it's like.
What is it? I think it's like $30 an inch. I think that's what
That's what people are charging.
Yeah,
roughly.
$30 or $32 an inch. So
in other words, if you got a really big fat 25, you should mount that instead of a 30.
Yeah. Well, there's some freaks like
So $30 an inch. That's like $900 for a 30.
Yeah, $1,000.
Yeah.
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 And like a lot of the pretty much most people that do get that 30 get a replica. Not everyone, but most do. Because that's the fish. Like that's like I said, the high standard of fish.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and so that's $30 an inch, Canadian. So that's like basically free. In American.
Yeah. All thanks to Governor Trudeau.
Rest in peace.
Yeah. Hopefully things.
I saw that. I couldn't believe that.
When he
like, has a leader of a country like ever resigned?
I don't know, man.
You know what I mean? Like, could you imagine like
I know.
Biden being like, I'm out.
I'm just done.
You know.
But the House was a mess. People were quitting. Like, it's just it was time. It was time.
I don't
get into the politics, but
I don't know anything about it. It's not my country.
Yeah.
I know a lot of Canadians who know a lot about American politics.
yeah.
I don't know much about it. I just know I didn't have many friends on Facebook who were very impressed by Trudeau.
Oh yeah, no, it's
The videos of dudes coming up to him being like,
there was.
"Oh hey, good to meet you. I just wanted to say you
Yeah.
sorry whatever."
Oh yeah,
Like,
did you see the lady who did
Yeah.
up in Banff?
yeah,
There? Like,
that was the one I saw. I'm
yeah.
like,
that was
he's-
like a nice lady, and no, he was not well liked.
yeah, that's all right.
Funniest thing I ever saw was I don't know if it was AI or what, but I saw a thing when Trump was running. He's like, if I get elected, I'm gonna throw Trudeau in jail. I was like, what?
I don't know if that's how that works, but all right.
I just think it's hilarious. Oh, there's one sneaking over by Brandon there. I'm spitting dust, so I need to get water. I think there's a water in this fridge. I don't want.
Yeah.
I'm just coming by to mess you up right as the fish come.
Yeah, just perfect timing. Is that coming by his bait?
Yeah.
One of us should get. Yeah.
Oh, what way do you reel? See, he reels the wrong way.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah.
Well,
You want to see something funny? Me reel back.
Oh, is that a? He's got his nose down.
That's pound sand. It's hitting the binders. Oh.
God, they're so tough today.
Ah, it's turning and burning. Well, I talked to quite a few people on the lake, and it didn't sound like anyone really just smashed them.
Yeah.
That's the other thing too. You know, it's a tough day when you talk to like 2-3 other guides, and they got big groups, and it's like, yeah.
Well, some of the numbers can get a little inflated too, because
Oh, yeah.
like you got a group of 10 dudes out there, and
Right.
they say they caught
200
eight-
fish.
well, whatever, like a good, you know,
Yeah.
you catch 20 fish or whatever, and it's like, oh, but there were 12 dudes in your group. Like,
Yeah.
that's like a fish and a half per person, you know, all day running and gunning. But yeah, I'm not in touch. I don't know how people have been doing it, but
One of them days. We got more fish around right now. There's 2.
Mille Lacs fisherman asks if I saw some of the perch action out of the west side of the lake there on Mille Lacs. Yeah, that's the perch are doing well on Mille Lacs right now. And actually, yeah, it's one of those deals where the walleye fishing is so hard on Mille Lacs right now that if you can run around and find some of the perch, especially out in the mud, but even unstructured too, or whatever as well. But I mean, that can be a lot better action if you're just looking to go and catch some fish
And some lunch.
and some lunch. I think what he's referring to in this photo here, in this comments, there's a photo of a bunch of perch, and I saw that photo.
Oh, okay. Well, they just laid out
A
on
big
the ice.
table of them, yeah.
She's warm
How you
up.
doing? You cold?
A little chilly out there.
Did you fill all the generators?
No, I'm going home.
Yeah.
I just thought it's 10:30. By the time I get home, it's 11.
Oh, it's 10:30.
You guide in the morning.
Yeah, I know. And then so I gotta sleep and then wake up early.
Well, you
get
don't
ready.
have to go home.
Yeah, I guess.
Well,
Would like
no.
to shower.
No, you can.
It's been a little bit.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
Good giver.
You're well, yeah. You don't have to worry about us. I think
Watch your cleats.
Oh well.
easy. Yeah, you don't gotta. Just tell us when you're gonna leave, so I can wrap this thing up.
You're not gonna
probably
stay for
like-
burnt ends.
No, I gotta go. I gotta be up in the morning. I'm
Yeah.
tired.
Yeah.
I gotta plug everything in and.
I still gotta go do my rounds, fill up all the jennies, check
Yep.
propane.
I'll tell you what, I did not want to wake up
Are
this
you
morning.
leaving soon? Because if you are,
Yeah,
I'm
okay,
gonna
now.
start my. You are okay.
Preferably.
Okay, let me look
Here, you
my-
can pull this out too.
Okay.
You still you already wrapped it?
What's up?
Oh, hey, we're still on, yeah?
Yeah, you had one. Yeah, we're still live.
Okay.
You had one come up to you there.
Did I? Wow.
We just left it there. We figured if you're not here, we don't want.
There you go. Where
We
is
don't
it
want to
still
steal
there?
from you. No, it was yeah. It was just came and turned off. Just classic.
Live scope issues.
Yeah.
That's what the title of this needs to be.
Yep.
Oh, jeez.
Can't beat this though. This will be a lot more comfortable than I was last night in the fish house.
Oh yeah, I bet.
In the
Well, I
flip- in the
messaged
flip
you. I'm like,
over.
you're more than, Kris isn't here, but you're more than welcome to come steal my bait.
I
'cause
just
I'm
I
getting
wanted
bottom
to
this
stick
time.
it out there.
Yeah.
I wanted to.
Experience it.
That's.
I want to know what I need to know. You know,
Yeah.
for the future.
Oh yeah.
Like, what do I gotta pack
Well,
to make a big storm
honestly,
get more comfortable?
You can't get any worse weather.
Yeah.
Like that's.
Yeah, pretty cool, yeah.
I've seen -50 out here, but like what you went through last night. That's why I text you, man. I'm like, dude, you're actually staying out this. If you want a bed, like,
Yeah.
get over here. And you're
Yeah.
like, nope, man, I'm doing it. So
Yeah.
I
No,
give
that's
you
exactly
props
it.
for that. But
No, it could have been. Yeah, it could have
I
been
almost
worse.
died on Lake of the Prairies when I first started getting into ice camping. That was pretty scary.
It's
You guys sleeping in the middle of the night and didn't have my tent pegged down properly. It's in my long johns, no socks, minus 40, and
please
woke
come
up
in.
to my tent getting ripped off the ground, sending across the
Oh,
lake.
jeez.
Vehicle nowhere nearby because I hiked out there, and so I rolled out of my cot, jumped out of my sleeping bag, and I just remember sprinting after it middle of the night, kind of seeing it rolling away from
In
me.
your gotch too?
In my long johns, yeah. No socks, minus 40.
Jesus.
Get to my tent, grab it, turn around. I don't even see where I'm set up. I just see my footprints through the snow slowly getting covered up. So now I'm running back through there and get to my cot, and then I jump on top of my cot so my feet aren't still in the bare snow. I'm shaking uncontrollably, and now I've got to hold my tent in the wind with one hand while going through my sleeping bag to find my clothes.
Dude, look at
With the
this.
other hand.
There's 3 of them.
And yeah, I ended up finding my clothes, and now I gotta figure out how to get dressed with one arm and get all the clothes on. And then I have to hop off the cot, get my boots on, find the pegs, flip my tent the right way, peg it down, get inside, get the sunflower heater going again, and somehow live. There's no reason I should have lived that night.
There's nothing more devastating than like not being pinned down good and having issues. Like,
Yeah.
The worst is when like you get a nice day, you think you're pinned down, and like you know how it melts around the anchor. Next thing you know,
And see, now that's the worst thing about that. It sounds so stupid or silly, but I had like PTSD to wind for like years. I'm not even kidding.
yeah.
I'd be passed out in my cot.
you hear the wind
And-
kicking up.
Oh
and-
man, I had every corner, every strap pegged down perfect, and I'd wake up, I'd hear the wind, and I'd wake up and I'd grab my tent.
Oh.
Like,
Well, you want a quick little funny story? I think I might have told you, Brandon, but so someone had got stuck. It was like midnight, right, or 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock. I get messages once in a while, and I'll never leave anyone out there. So
this wasn't our story, was it?
no,
Just kidding.
no.
Yeah.
And I go out there, and that's how I met him. He got stuck and hit me up on Messenger.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, yeah, but it's another story another day.
That's
So
amazing.
this someone got stuck. I didn't know them. I went to get them with the track truck, and I come back here. I'm talking to my friend Reed, and so one of my Yetis has a shelf right at the door. So I'm talking to him. I got him on speakerphone, and I throw my phone up there, and I'm go outside to go to the bathroom or grab something, whatever. Somehow the door had locked on me. That red latch there, I guess it was like halfway when I closed the door, it locked. So I'm locked out, and when I came in, phone and keys for the truck I threw on that shelf. And he's on speakerphone because I was doing stuff. So I'm outside, and it was like this cold, if not colder. It wasn't as windy, but it was just a deep, deep cold.
were you like yelling at the phone?
So I'm yelling through the crack. Can you hear me? He's like, yes. I'm like, I'm locked out. And I'm like, and he had his kids, so he couldn't leave. I'm like, and I had a spare key at my house. I'm like, call Reed and tell him to go, or call Steve and tell him to go to my house and grab my key. So, and he lived like an hour out of the city. So, and this was late at night, so there wasn't too many people. So I got him, and you needed tracks. That was the thing. You couldn't just come out here in a truck.
Yeah.
So you had to have someone with tracks. And so I knew he had a Kubota on tracks. So I was like, call Steve, see if he'll go to my house, grab my keys, and come out here. So he goes to my house, and I'm out there, and finally my phone was at like 40%. It finally died. I lost Reed, but he's like, yeah, I talked to Steve. He's going to your house. He's coming. So, and he's got a beacon on the top of his Kubota.
Yeah.
So at this point, I'm like, I'm starting to get cold. My phone's dead. I've been talking through the door. I had my suit in the truck, which was okay. Truck was still warm from towing out, but it was getting cold. It was fogging up. I couldn't barely see out the windows. So I just literally curled up in a ball in my suit and waited and like tried to kind of sleep or whatever. And I'd scratch the window to see if I could see any lights coming, and it was like looking at Prudence trying to. And I kept doing that, and then finally, like, I think it was about 3.5 hours later, I seen the beacon, and I was like, and I was starting to get really cold, like really cold, like I was running,
like
and my
shaking.
next move was busting a window, and I didn't want to have to bust the window.
Ideally not,
because it's hard to fix. I gotta get it off the ice, you know, and cardboard and window out here is not gonna do anything, right? So I was like, it was like my last resort, but I was like this close, and then I did a little scratch through the frost in the window, and I seen the beacon, and I was just like, oh, thank God. And I think it was about 3:30 in the morning. Finally,
Really?
yeah. And I felt like I owed him big time. Like, he came out, got up out of bed, went and got the Kubota. That's the other thing. You had to go pick it up from somewhere. Yeah. So it was just, but yeah. And I still, to this day, like, that's like one of my fears. I was like, I don't know how it locked on me. Like, it straight up locked. It was like as if this switch was right there, and then I closed the door and it just went that way instead of this way.
Is that like is there? Can you unlock that with a key?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
That one you can.
Yeah. You can both. There's like
Both
kind of a
locks.
deadbolt, and then
Because that one's like a deadbolt.
Yeah.
The red part.
That's the and that's
Yeah.
the one that locked. The other one didn't lock. It was the deadbolt. I still don't know how. It was like what, but that
I'm
was.
surprised you don't have like a giant pocket full of keys that you just bring with you. Like, you know what I mean?
I do. You should see my key ring. It's now I keep an extra one in the side by side.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Oh my
yeah.
gosh.
Yeah, it was quite the night. I didn't sleep much. And had to get up in the morning and yeah.
That was like me when a way worse version of me when I slept in the truck
Yeah.
last night, or didn't sleep much. Was
Your first night.
yeah.
Yeah.
I showed up here at like 1 a.m. and just slept in my truck.
Yeah. You just came on a whim, or?
Yeah, I just looked at the weather.
Yeah.
Ah!
It's supposed to be real nice.
It was really nice the first day. It was
Yeah,
the first
yeah.
day and a half I was here.
Yeah. Oh.
It's dropped off at the back end here, but
You want to go or what?
you ready to? You're looking.
Yeah,
You're thinking about it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Just one more hour.
No. No, I'm okay.
Come on, Mom.
All right, we're gonna close things up here, but yeah, you cannot beat this hanging out in the fish house. There's like big fish swimming around everywhere, but you know, it is what it is. Sometimes you stick them, sometimes you don't. But yeah, we're gonna wrap things up here, and honestly, yeah, it's 10:40. I'm super hungry, and sounds like
Tired, yeah.
and tired. There's a lot of work that needs to be done yet.
Yeah.
So anyway, we're gonna call this, and thanks to everyone for watching.
It's been a slice.
Yeah, it was fun chatting.
Yeah.
Had a good time.
So anywho, that's it. Make sure to check these guys out.
Yeah.
Social media.
Yeah, at Gaune Fishing, at Full Send Angling.
Full sun dangling. Look
Yeah.
me up.
So that's it. And also, yeah, if you're gonna look up Gaune Fishin', it's Gaune. So
Fishing, no G.
no G.
No G.
Yeah. It's like, you know, if you just type in Gaune Fishin', you're probably gonna get some like Southern Bass sticker or something.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, that's that. So that's the whole thing. And thanks for watching.
Yeah, tight lines.
Oh, and I got a big announcement. So next week, what I'm going to be doing is something that I've never done before. It's super crazy.